Hey, do you think it's okay to drive stoned? The truth is, your reaction times slow way down when you're high. You not only put yourself in danger, but everyone around you. So stop kidding yourself. It's not okay to drive high. If you've been using marijuana in any form, do not get behind the wheel. If you feel different, you drive different. Drive high, get a DUI. Hey, it is Tuesday, August the 20th, 2019. It's the Giant Bombcast. I am Brad Shoemaker. Jan Ochoa.
Hey.
Down at the other end of the table.
That's me.
We're in here.
Yes, we are.
You're shaking your hands out.
Yep.
Getting
loose with it.
Bruce
with it.
Just spinning a lot of plates this morning.
Yes.
Got a site upgrade going on this morning.
The CSS was broken, and then I got scared that we lost the domain or something. But then, Magic Engineer Will fixed everything.
Yep.
Like he does for most of my life.
Corrupted audio files.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. That was fun.
Maybe like the ceiling will cave in a minute or something. Let's just keep this thing going.
Let's hope not on our guests.
The United Kingdom is rolling deep this week.
The British are coming.
That's
British,
right.
here,
Yes.
actually.
It's like a real British invasion this week. Lucy James back for, I believe, your second
Yes.
appearance.
Thank you for having me
Since
back.
you relocated to the United States. I think the first time you were here was like
Almost.
maybe like a month after, I think?
Yeah.
Like you were pretty
pretty
new.
Got the social security, so
Yeah.
it's confirmed that I
Yes.
could say.
Okay.
But then, yeah.
You're ID'd.
Yeah.
You've got your official number.
Got it.
You're in
I'm
the system.
Tax paying.
Yikes. Tamoor Hussain,
Mm-hmm.
you've been here for like a week or something.
Yeah, just about a week. Yeah.
Wow.
I'm still waiting for my social security.
Okay.
I have filled out tax forms, which is a boondoggle. What the hell is that shit all about?
Let me tell you about the American federal bureaucracy.
Yeah, it's wild. It's mad. And I spoke to someone and they basically I don't know if this was like a conspiracy theory or if it's actually true, but they were like, oh yeah, it's designed to be as confusing as possible so that you go and use some sort of software or ask someone or something like that. And I was like, that is devious and I hate it.
Sounds
TurboTax, man.
about
Yeah,
right.
TurboTax, that's what.
An H&R block.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's
Yes.
what I used to do my
Yes,
first.
it was
tax
recently
return.
legislated that our tax process could not be simplified
Really?
at,
Oh
at-
my
Yeah.
at the behest of those who we pay to do it for us.
This is wild because in all my years in the UK, I've never thought about tax. Like it's just
That
So
must be
I used
nice.
to be self-employed, so I had to do my tax
Yeah.
return. And I discovered a couple years ago, after being full-time employed, where you don't have to worry about anything, is that I'd done it so catastrophically wrong the first time when I was doing it self-employed that the tax office thought that I was like, they taxed me on the allowance that they're not supposed to tax you on, your allowance to live. That's how badly I messed up my tax. And they were,
What do they do for you in that situation?
oh, they gave me a ton of money back. It was
Oh,
fine. It
nice.
was fine.
Nice.
But, 2012 me, who
Yeah.
was eating noodles for every meal because she couldn't afford anything,
yeah,
really
so
royally messed up.
I have
there.
never thought about it because it's just all automatic.
Yeah.
And then I come here and it's like people are explaining allowances and deductions to me. I'm like, I don't.
So, what brings you to America? Interesting time you've chosen to.
Yeah, move over. I mean, like it's not great back home either with Brexit
Sure.
happening.
So
So
when I moved, I was like, it's out of the frying pan into the fire.
yeah,
It's the other way around now.
yeah. Do you know what? Like, I was gonna. Here's the thing. I'm not gonna say. Here's what my brain is saying. At least it's entertaining here to some degree. Like you could think like it's bad
So
everywhere.
it's a very rosy outlook.
It's
okay?
the rosy outlook, and I realize this is a bad outlook, and it should never be this way. And technically, like in many ways, I could get not in trouble, but people are going to be like, "That's a bit distasteful to say." I understand that it's bad in a lot of places, but the UK kind messed up politics is very boring. It's a bunch of old people just shouting at each other
And passing the buck.
and passing the buck, not getting anything done. Over here, it's wild. Like you've got characters
Sure.
that are doing weird things.
That's one way to put it, yeah.
Yeah, so like
I don't know.
bad.
I would say Boris Johnson's a character.
Yeah, but he's a top 10 weapon, like, and he's like everyone knows the kind of character he is. He's not entertaining.
All right, we're going to need a sidebar here to go through all the UK slang that's going to come out of this thing.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. That was our thing. Every time we would come over for E3, we would bring a new piece of slang,
Yeah,
and then
okay.
the,
And leave
the
it.
US office would adopt it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we had rustled.
Russell. That's
Okay.
yeah.
Hang
That's
on. Oh, gosh. I need to. Okay. Rustled. How.
try and guess it. What does it mean?
Like flabbergasted?
Yes. Yeah. That's quite
Okay.
close. Like it's
sort
like
of.
it's like so the problem with the word trolled, it is now taken on a different meaning.
Okay.
Right? So it's effectively the impact that trolling on someone would have
Okay.
with none of the weird current meaning behind it.
Huh.
So it's
Okay.
like it comes from the phrase having your jimmies rustled.
Okay. So rustling is something you do to someone.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so
Okay.
like
Not
if
something
I
you are.
if I like unplugged this mic for a second and Jan looked at me and was like, "What the?" He would be temporarily rustled by my unplugging. I mean, I'm not going to do that, Jan. You're cool.
Okay. We share the Slack.
But yeah. So it's like it's a little more of a lighthearted, fun trolling. Basically.
Okay.
Temporary state.
Yeah,
I
temporary state of being rustled, and it can be for anything. Like I could like drop my coffee and be like, "Man, I am so rustled that happened."
You rustled yourself.
I rustled
Yeah.
myself.
I see.
Yeah,
Self-rustler.
there you go. So, and then the last one we used was goose.
Goose.
I think instead
Yeah.
of good. So like this comes from I don't know if you remember this video. It's called ... a review by Axeman13. So you can still find it, but it was a guy who went to Newgrounds and reviewed just a crap Flash game. But then someone else, the review was so vitriol filled and full of typos. Then someone took that and animated it into one of these like movie voiceover style things, but using one of those, those videos you get where the typography is all like animated cinematically, where it's like exploding and like stacking on top of each other, is one of those. So it was like this like really, really angry review of it. But the last line is like this one good statement, where the voices were pretty good. But like the way I heard it, me and my brother, it sounded like pretty goose.
Okay.
So from that point on, we'd replace the word good with goose. And it was just more entertaining to us.
This is like local slang.
Yeah, so this was like
Extremely
localized to my
local.
home
Right.
until I started using it in the UK office. And then we brought it over to the US office. And each time we'd do this, we'd do it during E3 and we'd make custom GameSpot t-shirts with the word. So I have a rustled t-shirt in the
Okay.
GameSpot logo and a goose t-shirt in the GameSpot logo. And also grow up.
Grow up was the
was
other one.
was
Yeah.
a big one when someone's being immature. That's the traditional phrasing or use of it, but you could just tell someone to grow up just when you want to end a conversation. So like, if like Jan was watching, and again, I don't know why I'm victimizing
Wow.
Jan.
I'm just doing my job.
If
here,
Jan was
man.
watching Naruto and you were upset by that, you could just be like, grow up and move on.
Jan's
But-
just here to work. He
Yeah.
does not deserve this.
here to press buttons.
Don't be upset, Jan. Grow up.
My favorite thing is when we were doing the lobby back when we still had the lobby,
Yeah.
and all the international teams are coming on, 2x2, and we all wore. Was it rustled? I think it was the rustled
It was
shirt.
the Russell t-shirt.
Everyone wore the Russell GameSpot shirt, and by the time I think you and I were last, we came on. Mike Mahadi just went, "You guys are doing this?
You
really
guys
doing
are all
this?
wearing
You're all
this?
doing this?"
He was like visibly rustled by it.
Working as intended.
Yeah,
I
exactly.
guess. All right, here, I'm going to give it a shot. I was a little rustled right before the show started when I
No.
found out, speaking of Slack, Jan, you let slip a dark secret
Oh,
about your ninja cabal.
Oh, well, I didn't think that was a secret. I mean, last time we had GameSpot folk on, we got derailed into anime for like 3
Shout
hours.
outs to Michael Hyam.
You had to do at least like 20 more
Shout outs to
shout-outs.
shout outs and then shout outs to Michael Hyam after that.
Exactly, and then look like you're doing a fireball jutsu, but really just exactly fantastic.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, Tamoor, Ben, and Michael Hyam and I are part of a secret Slack channel dedicated to Naruto.
Yeah, Naruto Slack.
is
I should have
what-
come up with a better name with it for it. I think it's
Wait,
just
is
called
that
Naruto Slack.
That's the name.
Yeah,
But
it should have
is
been
it-
like
Point?
the 4 Hokages
Hey,
or
you know
something
what?
like that.
You know what ninjas hide in plain sight.
Exactly.
So-
There you go.
Is it in our standardized I-GS-Naruto.
I don't think so.
I think it is.
It might be.
It's like
I might have
GS.
done that out of like habit. I think it's an open group as well. Like I'm not sure if you
Everyone
search
can
for it,
join.
anyone could join it. I'm hoping that LL Cool J uses it and accidentally joins the one. He's on our staff, right?
Yeah. So is SpongeBob.
Yeah,
now.
SpongeBob, Stephen
Oh.
Cole. We're Viacom CBS now. We got all the
that's right.
Nickelodeon
Yeah.
teams in there.
Jeez.
Oh, Keenan and Kel are coworkers
oh my
now.
God,
Oh.
yes. Amazing. But yeah, the Slack isn't active. It's just a safe space. It is active, but not like it's not popping all day long. Like it's not like Jutsu's being fired left, right, and center. It's just whenever someone has and every Naruto fan has this, they have the uncontrollable urge to express their love of Naruto.
Yeah.
Okay.
And most of the times you do on Twitter and get flamed. But this is like a space where we can come in there and just be like, man, I really love Naruto, and
Wait.
then move on with our day.
So why have you got a separate Slack for it when we have
Japanimation. So that's for everything. Yeah.
Oh, we have a Slack for everything. Like we had a true crime Slack.
Yep.
It was just me, Tam, and Callie for a while.
yeah. Japanimation is for everything. Anime and manga is diverse and broad.
Fair.
This is just for a focused look at one specific one
Right.
for a few people who need
Select
a
group.
private place where we can just
Be safe.
enjoy the thing we love, and that is Uzumaki Naruto and his friends.
Sometimes you can't just run freely with your arms.
No, you could.
extended
Yeah, you
behind
need to. Yeah, you
whenever
need to
want.
be.
So
Sometimes
you-
those arms hit other people,
Yeah,
so
so
you need to be very
be-
careful.
You need
Did I-
another outlet.
Did I tell you that? So my dad came to visit a couple of weeks ago, and he said, "Did you join that Area 51 thing?" And I said,
Okay.
"Okay, well, I live in America, but no, I
Good
did not."
to know that has escaped the national borders.
Oh
And
yeah.
then he said, "What is the Naruto run?" And I was like,
yes.
"I can't have this
That's when you should
conversation
have
with
should have added him to us.
you." I know. Here's an invite.
Yeah.
Here's an invite link.
But yeah, it's a good place. It's a safe space. We occasionally like throw in just a video and be like, "Hey, here's a Naruto meme. Enjoy," and then we
Yeah,
move
I
on with
do.
our days, and it's great. Yeah,
Yeah, it brings light to my life.
yeah, exactly.
Oh.
It's a little place you can go
Yeah.
and be Hokage. What is your most and least favorite thing been about the move so far?
So I think the most and the least is probably finding accommodation,
Okay.
like which has
Yeah.
been a roller coaster of emotions, because one, yeah, as I was informed when in advance, it is expensive here, and finding a place has been real weird. But so like there was a point where my plan was like I was having there's one place that I found on like one of the popular moving websites, the real estate websites, which was it literally looked like a set out of Saw, and I was like, holy moly! I've got a picture of it. I'll show you later, but like it's wild. But then so my plan was, I'm just gonna have to go there, do an Airbnb for a month, and then I can actually get out to places and look at them myself. And then it just so happened that a coworker was also looking for a place, and bless her, she did the hard work for me, so I owe her massively. And we found a really nice place.
Wow,
and
so you're actually on a lease and everything?
Good, yeah, I'm on
Wow.
a lease, and it's good. So the stress of that was the worst, and the best thing was actually landing the place and being here. Now it's just like a bunch of small things. Like I still need a bank account. I still need a social security number. I need a mobile phone number here because everything requires a mobile phone number. Like the major annoyance for me on a day-to-day basis is the Clipper card.
Sure.
which-
Wait, what? Why is that the annoying thing?
So I can't top it up easily. Like
Can you not go?
I go to a bar station and it
Yeah.
doesn't like any of my UK
Oh.
bank cards.
How are you putting the card in?
I've
In and
tried,
out. It has to be
go
like
in. I've done in and
a
out.
swift movement.
Which is just, it feels so wrong to be like,
Yeah.
I just need to slide it in and out or push it in and out. It feels like
Yeah.
that's how you steal
Yeah,
things.
he's trying to get away with something.
Yeah, exactly. But none of my cards work on that.
Oh.
And then I went online and tried to like make an account so I could update and add money to it on the fly, and it requires a US phone number. So right now I'm going to Walgreens every time I need it and doing it there, which is fine, but
Can you get the pass?
that's what I want to get. I just want a monthly pass because
So you
right
can't
now
get that from Walgreens.
you can't. I don't think so. I never tried that actually. Maybe I
'Cause it's
should
like,
try that.
It's pretty good. It's like 80.
$80.
This is some real.
This is some granular detail
Right.
on moving that everyone's just going to be like, when are they going to do the news jingle? God damn. But yeah, it's
Dun, 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 dun,
yeah
dun, dun.
yeah. But it's like a minor annoyance, and I'm lucky in that there's a Walgreens right outside the bus stop that is right next to work. So I just pop in there now and then. But occasionally, like last week, I forgot to do it, and it meant that I couldn't. And we were out like just getting a drink with the international team was here as well, and it meant that I couldn't top it up at the BART station. I had no cash on me, so I was like, oh, I've got to take an Uber. I have to take an Uber.
Drift in a strange land.
Yeah, so that's the other thing I need to do. I actually go and get some like cash dollars, because I'm surprised at how much the country still relies on cash. Like everything back home in UK is just all digital for me now. So carrying cash is going to be weird, but it'll be fine. I'll survive. The other thing is food. Food is real weird right now.
Oh?
Yeah, just like, because obviously as a Muslim, I eat halal meat, which is very difficult to find so far. Like I used to just like go to my local butchers, which like in London, like so multicultural that you're a stone's throw away from various different like culturally relevant and appropriate and religiously appropriate food sources, whether, you know, regardless of what you ascribe to. Down here, it's like my nearest. I typed in halal meat and it took me to New York, and I was like, nah, I'm okay. What? I'm all right. I'll look for something closer.
Just hop a red eye.
Yeah.
You know what you might be able to get done? Because this is a thing that was really wild to me. But when
Postmates?
Well, Postmates. But no, when we went to Mary Kish's for Thanksgiving last year, with a little Friendsgiving, and her parents had sent her meat through the mail.
What?
The turkey
is that allowed?
Through the mail.
It's like a freeze-dried or
I have no idea.
dry ice kind of thing.
That
Probably.
sounds wild.
But
surely that's some sort of like, imagine this bad meat that you're sending through the postal system.
So for context, I tried to buy some plants from Amazon to
Are we talking
spruce up
actual
my
plants, or are we talking weed here?
actual plants?
I
Although
don't think we're not quite there yet.
I did discover at the weekend that I've been watering a plastic succulent for the better part of a year. But
That is just the metaphor for life right there.
So I was trying to buy this like set of nice room plants, and they wouldn't let you ship within California because they were afraid of bugs and stuff. But shipping meat,
Yeah, you can
Totally.
send a whole turkey
from like
across
Oregon
the country though.
or something, totally fine.
Wow. Yeah, so that's a kind of tricky thing right now. So I'm doing a lot of like eating out, which I need to crack down on, because one, like if you eat out, usually it's just like fast food, and it gets real expensive real fast.
Especially here.
Yeah, especially here. But otherwise, like I'm surprisingly comfortable. I think it helps that I've got a really nice place to live that's reliable and with someone that I know, and I've got the strongest safety net for a move ever. Like I could have asked for. Like coming to this office, I've been here many times. I know loads of people, and like broader the industry, like, you know, friends are working in San Francisco. So I've got, if I ever like break down and have some sort of, you know, collapse, I can call many people to help me out. So that's been good. That's comforting.
Cool. Well, welcome.
Also, Lucy did all the hard work for me, and like I just was like, how do I do this?
You just kind of paved the way.
Well, no, so I moved, was it last September? And then Luce O'Brien from IGN moved in November.
Yeah.
And then you've moved.
Yeah, and like immediately, as soon as I announced it on Twitter, Luce O'Brien from IGN was like, any questions, you let me know. Everyone's got like a support network for moving now, which was fantastic.
Just write a handbook.
Yeah.
But no, I mean, for me, it was like, paved the way for me was someone from Last FM, Matt from Last FM.
Yeah.
He came a few months before I did. And so it's quite nice
the
that
knowledge is being passed on.
all the Brits from the UK office are
There's
just helping
so
each
many
other out.
brands in this company. I forgot they're even. It's like, wait, who, what?
No,
Oh, right,
FM,
yeah. We own them too. Right?
And now we've got more.
Yeah, that's
Everyone's
right.
in the fold.
SpongeBob.
This family has increased exponentially.
I'm just gonna start putting Patrick on all of our like slides that has like brand graphics on them, just to see if anyone knows.
When did that? I think that happened since last week's show. Is that right? Jan?
Yeah,
I think it was like happening as the show was happening last week.
Yeah.
I guess Garfield is also our coworker
Yes,
Hell yeah.
finally. Mondays off for everyone.
Yeah.
Lasagna every week.
More like I hate Mondays. No. Video games? Anyone even play anything? I know you've been in the process of moving.
Mm-hmm.
We played some Overwatch.
Also, like you said, you guys had a massive posse of international people here last week. I know you guys were doing a lot of meeting and planning and stuff.
Mostly playing Smash, though.
Yeah.
That's where the real meetings
Okay,
happen.
yes, the real business happens.
The meeting of fists and
After
fireballs and
hours.
swords.
That's how problems get solved.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, so it's been, for me personally, like, so everything started coming out, like the stuff that I really wanted to play started coming out as I was like having to focus on moving. So Fire Emblem, I've played maybe like 3 or 4 hours of. And I
Until your
know
Switch died on
exactly
on a cross
on a
transatlantic flight.
Yeah. Exactly that. And then so I've been meaning to delve deeper into that, and there's a few other games that are kind of like we've been given or available or have access to now that I want to dig into. But
you mentioned a game before we started that you can't talk about yet.
I was going to say the NDA flags are.
Very much want to hear about.
I was like, I'm like 2 hours into it. And
okay, I was about to ask. I was
very,
starting to ask, have you played much of it? As if you could actually tell me anything about it at all.
Yeah, it's early.
Talking about Control.
Yeah.
I am super curious to hear.
Exactly.
How that thing turned out.
Astral Chain is another one.
Okay.
So like I've got a list that now I'm kind of comfortable in my living situation. I'm going to start digging into. But in light of not wanting to start new things, I've been either playing small games or games that I'm very familiar and comfortable with.
It's kind of
comfort
safety,
gaming,
security blanket. Type
exactly.
Stuff.
So one of those is Overwatch, which I play with Lucy. Who we have a posse. It's me, Lucy, and then Dan Krupa from RKG, ex-IGN folk, Simon Cardio, IGN, like a bunch of like UK industry people that we play most weekends for upwards of like 4 hours a day.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's kind of nice. So we used to play 2 hours every day at 9 p.m. We would play. But we've done that for years. So we used to play on PC with a different crew, and then we sort of moved when I left my old apartment. And I didn't have my PC anymore. Lost it in the divorce. I wasn't divorced, but like, I had to leave it behind.
Divorce from UK.
Yeah. I switched to PS4. And so for me, being here, while it's great to have so many friends now in San Francisco, it's been a really nice way to keep in touch with everyone in the UK.
Sure. Yeah.
Because you immediately go from how was your day to just chatting shit within about 10 minutes.
Yeah.
And so it's a nice taste of home.
Yeah, exactly. So I think that's I fall into a similar groove where like those guys we've been super tight for a really long time. So this is kind of like become our, the way everyone plays Destiny to hang out, and you've had various guests on this podcast that talk about their kind of life games.
It's just a chat room with a gun.
Yeah,
on it, basically.
This is my equivalent of Vinny's Division 2 obsession.
Sure.
Or our equivalent. So we played that. We played that on Sunday for a few hours, which was fun.
And we played Sigma, the new
Yeah,
character, for approximately 10 minutes of that time.
Wow.
No one.
So is that character off the test server? It's like full on now?
Yeah, I love Overwatch, and I continue to play it. It is the obsession for me, and it is like part of my life, but I've never been more upset about where the game is. Like the meta of it.
The last thing that game needs is another character with another giant shield.
So like I've spent a lot of time thinking about why I don't like playing Overwatch as much as I used to. Like fundamentally, I still enjoy it because one, it's a satisfying game to play. It's really like engaging. Like it's got a lot of like visual and auditory stimulus that are satisfying to enjoy, and then there's the playing with friends element of it. But if I sit down at it and like almost academically gaming, journalist or like analysis look at it, I'm not having fun playing it. And I think it's a problem that they have with, I don't know if it's because they have too much here. One, I don't like it because the character I like to play, Zarya, she feels like she's been left behind. I know she still gets picked in competitive, but like her picks are a lot of people are going to be like, that's not right. But this is my perception of it as someone who doesn't sit on a stage at Overwatch League and play it. But like her being good and being able to play her effectively relies on other people picking certain characters to support you. And that doesn't happen a lot in like random, play. We have roll queue now, but I haven't experimented with that. But even still, like you have to rely on like, I need a Reinhardt to help me out. And like a lot of characters have evolved in a way that they've been keeping up with the meta, whereas Zarya hasn't changed very much at all. Like the thing that I hate about playing Zarya now is there's so many characters, and this kind of like indicative of the game as a whole, is everything the game has evolved and characters have evolved in a way to stop you from playing your game. So like that used to be with a smaller roster, there were one or two people that could do that. Mei would basically lock you out and shut you out.
It's kind of
like,
counter
picks. Yeah. So she would shut you out, and then like over time they added people like Sombra who'd stop you from playing. But now almost every character has that element of, I've got an ability here that will stop you from even engaging with me. So you have Orisa putting up giant shields that are on 1 second cooldowns or whatever. That means that basically she can always have a shield in front of you. Reinhardt's got a shield. Moira's got a fade, so she can escape from a battle. McCree's got a stun. Zarya has none of that, so effectively I will run into a skirmish and I will see 7 characters or 5 characters that I know I don't stand a chance against you, and you. And when you're playing a tank who's designed to kind of propel the team forward and carry a team, that's just so like debilitating, and I hate it so much. And like, regardless of who I pick, I feel like I'm shooting at shields most of the time. And I hate the idea, like, and more I've fallen into the trap of like being that gamer who complains about things like, when we first started, the things that we praised Overwatch for was the design allows for so many skill levels. Like you can have a character like Soldier that requires, precision aim, or Hanzo that requires precision aim. And then someone like Mei who's, has an element of freezing, doesn't require too much finite aim. Like you spray the freeze and then you hit her with the precision shots. So you had that variant where like the auto aim element of it was a good way to have, people who aren't super keen on first person shooters engage. But now it feels like there's so many characters that can do that I'm like, there should be no auto aim in this game. I hate the fact that anyone can pick up this game and just run a train over you with like Moira, who's like from a distance just sapping your energy. And I know that if I try and fight Moira in this, she's going to fade away, recover her ability, fire a ball at me, and I'm done. So like that shield and auto aim meta is just really upsetting me. And I just really, really struggle to play it. And I know everyone says, oh yeah, you shouldn't just be playing Zarya. And I get that. I play a load of characters. I play Reinhardt. But still, fundamentally, I feel like I'm just shooting at shields and I'm being stopped by every character from engaging in the mechanics of Overwatch.
Sounds like it just kind of kills the momentum.
Yeah, exactly. Like imagine playing like a game like League of Legends or Dota or like Destiny, where every character just stopped you from using your special abilities. And it's just so frustrating. It feels like they've locked out. They've very slowly stripped away the things that made that game interesting and fun.
And accessible. Sounds
and
like.
accessible, yeah.
What are we at? Like 3 years? Did it come out in 2016?
May 2016.
Yeah.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Do you think is that just like inevitably they're just drifting toward the hardcore
sequel.
competitive like the competitive scene that is still there?
Even still, like I feel like they are drifting towards that stuff, and a lot of it is designed around how competitive players play the game. But
yeah, I mean, Goats was good for no one. Like
Yeah,
three
exactly.
tank, 3 support, and it
Yeah.
was just the most boring way to experience that
your
game.
nod.
yeah,
Like I know what goes me.
It just meant like no one would
I know,
die.
I get it. Yeah,
It's
yeah,
just,
yeah.
And when you're watching League and stuff, and it's just like, oh god. And then like even the first year of League, when you'd have these really interesting compositions, and then they slowly started to go towards Goats, and I was like, oh god, I hope this isn't the way.
Yeah, it just feels like every battle is a battle of attrition now. Instead of being like, I don't feel like there's more skill play anymore. It's like you can't have that really good character who's like, this person is so good with aim, or just knows exactly where to put down a barrier or whatever it may be. It's not that anymore. I mean, you get instances of that, and you still see that in Overwatch League, where a really good Widow player will take out a bunch of people, and it opens the kind of like line for the team to rush in and make a massive play. But that's less and less these days. Now you just see 2 teams just stalemate for a really long time until one person makes a mistake, and then it's like a pylon, and that's just not really interesting to me. Like I want to see really like skill play meet strategy instead of just a battle of attrition. And I'm also one of those people, like my competitive background is in fighting games, so like I'm hardwired when I think of competitive games, I think of one-on-one, like person versus person. It's one of the reasons that I can't like really get into Smash, for example. Like I can get into it as a party game, but the moment more than 2 players are on screen, I'm like, this is ridiculous and nonsense, and I don't think it's skill based at all. Like it's Mario Kart for fighting games. Not even fighting games. I treat it like a platformer.
The lives are called stock. What the
Yeah,
hell?
exactly. And like so, when this stuff kind of happens, like my lizard brain just evolves into being like, this is not a competitive game. This is not real competition. This is not skill based. We have a friend who his name's FA, and he describes it as it's Mario Party first person shooter, and that's what it and like when he used to
silly season.
when
That's
he
a
used
very
to
evocative metaphor.
there would be a point where we were playing and he'd immediately just start screaming it's silly season, and that means like it's all devolved into just nonsense.
Yeah.
And when we used to play on PC like years ago, I'd argue against that. Now more than ever, I'm just like, FA was right. He was right the entire time. This is Mario Party first person shooter at this point.
Because what we're playing on Sunday, and there was a point, I think we were on Junkertown, and you got Baptiste with the invincibility
Yeah.
field. They had like 5 different ults going on at the same time. And I think there was a point where I was playing Brigitte, who got a really good nerf recently.
A buff, isn't it?
I know, but also a buff. I mean, her
Yeah.
shield got nerfed, but the rest of her got buffed. So I really like where she is as a character right now. But it means that you have to be in the middle of everything because you have to flail and hit people with your hammer thing. And there was points where I was just going, I can't see anything. I have no idea what I'm doing. I'm just holding right trigger and just
Pray.
swinging and praying.
Yeah.
And
right now.
that's a person who's been playing for 3 years and has like is fluent in the language, visual language of Overwatch. And even I'm the same. Like I've been like playing Overwatch for years.
Yeah, like it sounds like you guys have earned your right.
Yeah, exactly. and like it doesn't make sense to me. Like Reaper, for example, right now is an unkillable character. Like he gets damage for a certain amount of damage that he does.
I think every shot that lands.
Every shot that lands, and like
20% of
his
that back.
shotguns are sniper rifles, as far as I'm concerned. He can hit you from across the map, and like every fight that I've had with Reaper, even if it's like 2-on-1, I've just seen him just destroy everyone.
Especially
So, like,
tanks.
and that's like a perfect summation of it. I see a Reaper, and my immediate thought is run away, disengage, and that happens with so many characters that I'm just like, what am I even doing?
Yeah, that's a bad feeling.
It's a bad feeling, yeah. And I wish I could just take Kaplan and Goodman aside and just be like, listen, I know you don't listen to fans and all that, but just make this stop,
Just a
please.
little tough
Listen,
love.
Jeffs.
Listen, Jeffs,
Jeffs.
sort
But
your lives out.
saying all that, we do still play for 7 to 9 hours.
Exactly,
every
and
weekend,
we
so-
won't stop.
Something to be said for that, I guess. I mean,
Yeah.
how much life do you think is left in the game? Like, how much longer do they have before?
Well, they're at Hero
A
31
Yeah.
now.
I think there's definitely an Overwatch 2 in our future.
Yeah,
Yeah.
But
like sooner than later, you think?
I think sooner than later.
Especially there was that earnings report out of Activision Blizzard recently about like beefing up their content pipeline to just pump out Diablo and Overwatch forever.
Yeah, I
So-
don't know. The things that's going to be interesting to me is like whether they take what they have now and do like a kind of platform style update where it's like Overwatch 2 is the same thing that you have, but we've changed like visually top to bottom. It's different, and we've reorganized this mechanic system, and you can play it now. Or if they're like, here's a new experience that's distinct from the old one. I think it would be smart for them to update what they have already, given the install base and the people that are still playing, and also like the fact that so much of their league relies on it. That doing an entire new like pipeline for a new game would be counterproductive to some measure. I mean, but then again, you have games like Destiny that have pulled it off, and that doesn't have as much as a competitive kind of like scene.
Yeah, but similar, super passionate fan base.
Yeah, exactly, and they managed to do it pretty well.
I like to use the Twitter replies to Luke Smith as a barometer for that community.
Yeah.
And like the change in the tone of his replies from say 2 years ago to now is like such an about face that like, it's hard to comprehend. So like, it is possible.
I guess so, but
But
I think
it's like walking a tightrope, right?
I think we'll get a few more heroes out of this.
I think it probably gets to 35.
Yeah, 35.
A nice round number.
Yeah, and then they start doing things like
Picks and bans.
balances, picks and bans, and more feature stuff around the roster. I think the roster right now is too big for me even. Like I think like I don't know how they would approach it, but my thought would be like they need to start taking things away instead of putting things
is
in.
there any kind of pick and ban framework now?
There's
or
no
nothing?
pick and ban framework right now. And in the past they've said they don't really want to do pick and ban, but that was at a time when they felt when there was clear like everything almost like fit together in a like a jigsaw puzzle way where you knew where a kind of like a piece could go. Now it's like you've got repeated pieces and everything's like overlapping, and it's all a bit of a mishmash of everything that I feel like to control that chaos, pick and ban seems like the smart thing to do.
And I mean, I'm interested to see what role view does.
Yeah, I think it's at the moment it feels like it's taking away the stress of like finding the right person for the right role, and also the guilt of having to be like, oh, I want to play this character, but we need a healer right now, but I'm better as a tank. You can just I think it's like almost like a mental improvement for like, you know, that kind of stuff.
But Cardi was saying that he was playing in competitive and it removed, and while it's good to, you know, have people and lock them into those roles, but it also stops you from changing if you need something, if you need more DPS, for example.
Yeah, I
making
guess
smart changes on the fly.
Yeah, as well as giving you like that kind of quality of life mental improvement, it kind of just places more emphasis on the other people being like nimble when they need to be, and that's a thing that perhaps is harder to push on people. Like regardless of how the game is designed, people generally, like if you come in there being like, I play tank, you're not going to get a person who's going to be like, all right, we need to change to something else right now. They're like, I picked a tank. I came in the role as tank. I'm not changing. This is the tank I play. So that's another thing they're going to have to work on. But yeah,
do not envy the Jeffs.
I do, the Jeffs and the rest of the teams that are working on that game. Good luck to them. I need Zara. Zara needs some sort of disengagement tool. That's what I'm saying. Like, it's easy. Just give her a kind of like rocket jump style thing where she aims at the ground, you fire your ball, and it pushes you back. Because I hate being chased down by maze.
Come on, Jeff, just
Jeff,
do it.
just listen.
He's
I
pitched
pitched
to
this
Jeff.
idea to Kaplan's face. Like, I cornered him.
Does he
and I was
listen
I
in
think
person?
we have it on
yeah,
camera.
we have it on
Okay,
camera somewhere.
okay.
Where I don't know if it's in the Overwatch League documentary
No,
series.
It's because we didn't record it with sound. But
Yeah.
there's you
There's
off
me
screen.
like explaining to him, and he's like nodding at me.
We're trying to get B-roll of Jeff Kaplan like looking at all this concept art of Zarya.
Yeah.
And off screen, not Mike, you've got Tamoor going, listen, she needs a kind of disengagement
Yeah.
thing. All I'm saying is I've thought this through, and you can just see Kaplan going,
Yeah. And he's probably like, this guy needs to get out of my
Now
face.
some lip reader in
Yeah.
the Overwatch community is gonna get a hold of that footage.
Just let me fire a Zarya ball at the ground and let it push me back. So when someone is coming at me and I know I can't fight that character, I can get away safely. Because I hate like being jumped down on by a Mei and knowing that I can't beat this Mei, but having no way to stop her. Like I can use a bubble and eat up some of that damage briefly, but she just needs to walk forward towards me. Every character can just walk at Zarya and kill her. And I hate that. Sort your life out, Jeff.
Yeah, grow up, please.
Grow up.
nice.
These games seem to go through phases of,
yeah.
like
Yeah.
people are on the outs with them and then they're back in favor again. So
exactly.
you guys just stay the course.
Yeah, I like we said, like I still love playing it. It's just each time if I think too hard about it, I it does like start to annoy me. But I'm gonna carry on playing it and carry on enjoying it.
That's fair. Lucy, I understand. In addition to too much Overwatch, you've played an inhuman amount of The Witcher 3.
Yeah, so I think because of all the Switcher stuff and, just being excited.
Are we officially adopting that
I
term?
didn't make
now?
that up.
Is that not something that you guys use?
No.
Oh right, because
I just saw it for the first time yesterday.
Oh yeah, we've been all of our Asana tasks have Switcher in it.
Yeah.
Like we've leaned into Switcher hard.
Just seeing it kind of out and about, and it's always been my guilty secret that I never finished.
I am very open about the
Yeah.
fact that I didn't finish The Witcher, so you're in good company. But
And then so what did I finished something else, and I was like, I just need I need a
Palate
RPG.
cleanser.
Yeah, I need something
Yeah.
to just throw myself into. And so my save was at Skellige, and so I did finish the main story. And then I bought the DLC. I already had one of the DLC. I think I had Blood and Wine already, but I bought Hearts of Stone, blasted through all of them, and so finally crossed it off my list. I think I enjoyed the DLC more than I enjoyed the main game.
I feel like that's pretty common sentiment.
Yeah, we talked about it on GameSpot as a podcast now, After Dark.
Yes.
And I was talking about this with Jake, obviously our resident Witcher expert, and we kind of both agreed that the overarching end of the world narrative, especially when you have a game that's as big as The Witcher, that's constantly trying to push you to do a bunch of side things, feels completely at odds with the main story. And so felt that way with Mass Effect 3 as well.
Sure, yeah.
Like, I don't know which one I should be prioritizing. Whereas in the DLC, because there's less pressure on doing the main quests, and
Yeah,
the
do
main
they-
quests are generally really interesting.
So they wrap up all the kind of coming apocalypse stuff by the end of
By the
the
end of
game
Witcher,
proper?
Witcher
Okay.
3, yeah. All that stuff is kind of just dealt with, and then by the time you're in the DLC, you can just boss about.
Yeah.
I run a vineyard. It's lovely.
Be a Witcher.
I've been upgrading my little vineyard and doing some interior design.
Sounds like some Picard nonsense happening.
Yeah. I've got a dog. No. And so it's been really good, and I'm glad that I took the time to actually do it. And to be honest, I never thought that I would finish it and immediately want to start it again.
That's a tall order.
But then I thought, no, other games are out, so I started playing Fire Emblem.
Did you do the thing where you kind of create a new Geralt for each DLC, or did you just carry your existing?
It's all your same
Yeah.
guy. So I think I started it when I was, like mid-30s. I think that was the level I was at, and took him in. But the one thing I would say is that the difficulty just goes places. So I mean, in Blood and Wine, I was way over leveled at the beginning, but then by the end, I was level 40 something, and the quest was the same level as me, and I had to drop the difficulty all the way down. And to be honest, that was the first point in the game that I needed to make potions and oils, because the rest of it was just, I was fine. And then that final boss battle, but of course it auto-saved at the cutscene, and I didn't have the exact oil for the exact beast that I was fighting, so I was like, oh my god. I had to respec my character like as much as I could and just sort of cheese my way through it slowly.
That's fair.
That's fair.
I don't know. I mean, that's kind of the thing that drove me away from that game, is that the playing of it was kind of the weakest link to me. I mean, everything else about it was so fantastic. But
Did you play it since they reworked a lot
this
of
was
it?
This was like maybe in the first month after it came out.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
that's why I dropped off too, and then I picked it up again. I think last Christmas because I was at home and I was like, a week with my parents. I'll play something else. I'll do something. So I picked up The Witcher, and it had this massive patch. And it just changed, you know, like the UI, it changed. But it felt like Geralt wasn't on this weird axis where he would only turn 90 degrees.
Sure.
They changed like the movement.
Yeah,
A lot more
I did try some of that stuff back.
Yeah.
back
Fundamentally, the combat is the same though, and I felt that to be lacking.
It was always the combat. I want to say, wasn't that the same year Bloodborne came out?
It was.
Wasn't that like 3 months after Bloodborne came out or something?
was.
I don't think
superior
that
game, Bloodborne.
I don't.
Well, I started playing Bloodborne too. That was what I did. I finished The Witcher and I booted up Bloodborne again.
Okay.
Because I haven't finished that either.
That's the other game I'm constantly playing. So there's 3 games that I'm always playing on a weekly basis.
Perpetual.
Yeah, Metal Gear Solid 5.
Oh,
'Cause
okay.
Just,
Okay.
Just
Sure.
running in that game is the most satisfying
That's
thing.
one of the best feeling games
Yeah,
to play.
exactly.
I think.
And I always go back to it at least once a week. Bloodborne, I'm always playing.
Okay.
Like non-stop.
What playthrough are you on?
I think I've 100% of that game, so I'm on like playthrough. Like I I'll have like a bunch of save files, so I can just go wherever I want to. I think I've restarted that game about maybe 15 times.
Wow.
Something like that. I've spent probably maybe like 700, 800 hours in that game in total, across the disc and digital version, and like I just love it so much. It feels so good. And then Overwatch.
Do you get that way with any of the Dark Souls games, or is it just Bloodborne?
No, I think Bloodborne is the only one that I've kind of gone back to multiple times. I've played Dark Souls maybe 3 or 4 times, but Bloodborne is the only one that feels like it. I think it's mechanically, it's a different kind of feeling game, because there's a satisfaction to the way you play that game, instead of the Dark Souls stuff is like the combat is interesting, but the actual moment-to-moment combat doesn't have a satisfying element to it, right? It's just like you're swinging the sword at the right time, and then almost it's like a transaction almost. Like, did that land? Good.
Right.
Moving on.
It's kind of there can be kind of a mushiness to it.
Yeah,
like
exactly.
a lack of precision. That's not necessarily the game's fault, but it lets you get away with that stuff in a way that Bloodborne doesn't.
Yeah, I agree. But like there's like it's almost like a fighting game element to Bloodborne, where there's a rhythm to the combat that you feel, instead of like Dark Souls, where it's like, I'm going to do something, you're going to do something, I'm going to do something. There's like a back and forth that is really satisfying. And the closest game to come to that, and the one that is also now being slowly introduced to my rotation, is Sekiro. So like the feeling of parrying in that game.
Okay, it's really the
like,
parries, isn't it?
It's the parry of that game. Like when I boot that game up, I'm doing it not because I like the world and the kind of feeling that you get from kind of being in there and the atmosphere, but I want to do the thing where an enemy swipes at me a few times and I parry, and then like death blow. That's what I want from it. And with Bloodborne, it's land the gunshot and then get in and do the visceral. That's what I want on a weekly basis.
Like both of those cases, I think there's just like straight up dopamine release that happens every time you land a parry, every time, like no matter how many times you do it.
I think this is like kind of trailing off in something else. I think that's the arc of From Software now. Like I think that's what they're honing in on. See, originally the Dark Souls series was kind of like they're figuring out the thing that defined them is the difficulty and the world. Mechanically, it was, you have this very measured thing. I think now we're in like a new age or a new evolution of From Software where they're starting to figure out this kind of the layer to their mechanics and gameplay beneath that's way more satisfying. And I think every game will have that kind of almost like a hook that's similar, the satisfying combat hook where it feels a little more fluid. It's almost like, when a new fighting game comes out, like Street Fighter, for example, Street Fighter 4 was like, what's the hook for Street Fighter 4? It's the focus attacks. And then 5 was like, the V triggers. they're going to have a similar thing, I think. So when Elden Ring comes out, I'm really, really interested to see what the kind of hook is there.
See if they keep going down this path.
Yeah, what is the mechanic that they hone in on and create this like really like inescapable loop?
It seems like the difference basically boils down to the Dark Souls games let you have a shield.
Yeah,
And these games no longer have a shield. Instead, there's this move counter move
exactly
kind of system of
Yeah.
you just have to be on top of it
exactly
at all times.
I'm really excited to see what happens with that. But those are the three games that, and as before I cut off Lucy and went on a mad tangent, but Bloodborne is the one that I keep coming back
Sure.
to, and it's I think that's what you were playing before you went to Witcher, right? Was that
No, so I finished Witcher and then I went to
Bloodborne?
Bloodborne.
Yeah.
And
they-
then I traveled and picked up 3 houses.
Fantastic.
Seems to be getting a lot of people. Have they said anything about Elden Ring at Gamescom? Do you know if we should expect
as far as I know,
anything?
it's not there.
Okay.
I inquired about it and asked if there were any appointments, but I'm pretty sure there is none. There might be some BCD stuff, but even I was told there's no BCD stuff there. But
Maybe Tokyo Game Show?
yeah, I reckon Tokyo Game Show maybe at the earliest is where we'll see that.
I think it's
game
probably
again.
next year. Sort of
Yeah,
thing.
that's going to be when it starts showing up.
Mm-hmm.
All right, I finally have my segue. I've been waiting for some way to get into this game now that we're talking about From Software. The one game I've been playing is Remnant from the Ashes.
Oh,
Have you guys
Ooh.
seen that thing?
yeah, I've seen a bit of
Like,
it.
I feel like the name doesn't necessarily do it a lot of favors. Like,
it's very generic.
it's a little...
It's kind of, it sounds like an emo band.
It reminds
2005.
whenever someone mentions it, I think of The Last Remnant, which is that weird Square Enix RPG
Oh, wow.
from like I think the PS3,
Oh,
Xbox
Sure,
360.
yeah, that
era.
might have something to
And I
do
think it
with
was just re-released as well somewhere.
Is it Last Remnant?
I think it's called The
yeah,
Last Remnant.
yeah.
But that's what I think of.
Yeah,
but
so like
different game.
Yeah, like press release went out for this. I was just like, okay, well, this sounds like nothing. I'll just keep going on. But it's basically a third-person shooter with like full-on Dark Souls sensibilities,
Oh,
like
wow.
from top to bottom.
Mm-hmm.
It's like it's set in a post-apocalyptic world, but it's not just like Fallout style, like nukes fell and everything is irradiated now. Like there's a lot of kind of mythology and lore behind it that they deal out pretty slowly. But it's basically like a class-based shooter, you know, like there's full-on like aim down sights and shoot stuff.
Oh.
But it's got this really unusual framework where, as I understand it, and I'm only like figuring this out as I talk to other people playing it and having a different experience from me. It generates a campaign for you at the beginning of your game that is random but locked in. So like,
Okay.
so you have a different campaign than, say, your friend,
Right.
but you're not getting different stuff every time you die. Like the layouts and the bosses, like it's even like the order of the bosses that you're going to see is randomized.
So when you hit new game, it's like I've created a game for you. But,
Yeah,
and then that's your game.
Yeah,
until
and then
when
when you load your game, there's a little re-roll campaign button underneath it that they don't
Oh.
really go into a lot of explanation about. So I was like, "What in the world is this?" Until
So can you see the outline of your game when you hit new
no,
game?
it's
Oh, no.
all. Well, I haven't tried re-rolling it because I
Yeah.
was afraid of what that would do, so I didn't touch it. But yeah, like I partied up with a friend last night, and he's further in the game than me, but he was helping me. Also, the game is fucking hard. Like I could not get through the first dungeon by myself. Like I gave up on it. Like it's
Wow.
really tough. But he jumped in there and is like, the story beats are basically the same. Like, you know, where I was trying to get to is the same as where he was trying to get to previously, but like the route to get there was completely different. The boss we fought at the end of it was different than what he had seen.
Wow.
So it's kind of like Dead Cells procedural in
Kinda,
a way,
yeah,
where
but
it's
it's-
just a bunch of pre-created rooms, and then they just switch up the order.
Yeah, order
Yeah.
of them,
Yeah.
stuff like that. Yeah, and shuffle it.
So you start out like it's like there's basically like short, medium, and long range classes that have sort of secondary abilities. But my understanding is you can actually like buy any of the armor and abilities of the other classes after you start. So you can there's full on just kind of mix and match. It's hard as fuck, and the shooting and the movement feel really good. Like it's just got really nice tight like the pistol that I started with. You can basically dump with it like as fast as you can hit the mouse button.
Right.
So it just feels really good to like. Basically, you know, you have like 20 of these little kind of fodder enemies rushing at you, and you're just sort of backing up down a hall, trying to shoot them all as fast as they're coming at you, and you've got a stamina meter and a dodge, so like all that stuff works pretty much exactly how you think it would. It seems like there's a little bit of a Monster Hunter element in there because bosses drop unique items that can be crafted into weapons and armor that are kind of boss specific. Like I saw one in a loading screen that looked like some straight up Cronenberg shit because it was just like it was like a bone gun with teeth sticking out of it and stuff like that.
Ooh.
So
How does the co-op work? You said you played with your friend.
so it's sort of seamless join. Like you just start a game and then your friends can join if you have it open and that sort of thing. the whole game, like, it just seems very balanced to be very mean. Like my friend was leveled way above me, and I was like, okay, I'm going to get him in here because this dungeon is beating my ass, and I get him in there, and it tells you how you're rated against your current dungeon, and I was like neutral on it, and then he joined my game, and then all of a sudden it said like, okay, your offense and defense are now inadequate for this dungeon. So,
Oh, so scale to
it seems
him.
to scale.
rather than-
It seems to scale to the highest level person in your game, from what I can tell.
Could he carry you though?
Yeah, like we managed to work it out, but it was cool because like it was the first dungeon in the game, but he had never seen the boss that we got at the end of
That's
mine.
cool.
He had a totally different experience, but it was just like super tense. It took us like 5 tries to beat this boss.
Right.
Really fast paced, like spawning ads everywhere, and you're just constantly having to manage aggro and heal each other, and it just feels super good to play. It's really really intense.
So when another player joins you, are there rewards for that player, or is it just like you get help and that's it? So like if my thought is like that's a really good way to encourage co-op.
There's like a team buff. Like you have there's a trait sort of. It's not a tree. It's actually interesting because the traits are all tied to exploration, from what I can tell. Like you'll find an item, like a lore item in the world that will then add a trait to your list of traits that you wouldn't have had otherwise. So like it's all based on just like where you've gone and what you found.
Right.
But there is a trait that like a teamwork trait that pops when somebody else joins. It's just like straight up more health and more experience and stuff like that.
That's
Can
an
they
interesting
take anything
way.
into their game after they've helped you out?
I guess just whatever drops. So
Yeah.
yeah, I guess
Oh, yeah.
he would have gotten the unique boss item off that boss that
Yeah,
we fought in my game that he didn't see in his, and he can take that back in and make a weapon out of that.
I was gonna say like that's a really cool way of encouraging replayability,
Yeah,
and it's 'cause not only will you get to see something different,
Right.
you get to take something back with you. So that's smart.
Yeah,
I
like
really
going back
that
and
idea.
you're not just replaying the same shit that you saw in your game already.
In terms of like how is it like a hub and spoke design?
Yeah,
or-
so there are straight up bonfires.
Oh,
like
sweet.
Full on. I mean, there are giant crystals or whatever, but it full on says like, hey, when you rest at this thing, it'll respawn all the enemies. in the
it's
world.
wild
Like,
how
it's just
prevalent that has
super
become.
blatant, and they don't care, but that's fine
Like
because
Code
it works
Vein
so
as well.
Code
Yeah.
Vein has it. Star Wars has it. Like
Yeah.
Yeah.
That
it's
dude.
just
Yeah.
it's mad that so many parts of From Software's games are now everywhere.
I mean, I will cop to it. I remember GameSpot gave Demon's Souls Game of the Year in 09 or whatever it was, and I looked at that and I was like, "You people are crazy. What are you doing?"
Yeah,
And then here we are.
Here we are.
History has proven you right. It's a really interesting game. I was gonna say something else about it. I totally forgot what it was.
Who makes it?
So like the other thing it has is like, you know, that kind of breathless excitement around like a new From Software game where you're just telling each other like weird shit you saw and none of it makes sense, and you're like trying to piece it all together through sort of shared knowledge and stuff like that. Like it's totally got that element to it. Like without getting too deep into, I mean, I didn't see the stuff myself. This is kind of secondhand info, but like it's a lot of stuff where like, okay, I've got a side quest, and if you talked to this NPC previously and did a certain set of like responses to their dialogue tree, then they might have given you an item that's going to totally change how this thing plays out. And it might be like a piece of armor.
Wow.
And if you're wearing the armor, then the way people react to you is going to be different than if you weren't. And you might not have that armor in the first place, depending on what you've done now. Like a lot of really cool sounding like dynamic elements to the way stuff plays out.
I've already forgotten this name. So what was it called?
Remnant
from the Ashes. Okay, not the last Remnant.
Yeah.
So, who's
who
Lucy?
makes
Oh,
it?
it's Gunfire Games. They did Dark
Oh,
Souls
Dark
3.
the Darksiders guys.
Yeah. It's,
Oh, okay.
okay.
And the game is definitely like edging into kind of like heavy metal territory. Like it's really, it's kind of grim dark, but like it sounds like it gets sort of Lovecraftian at a
Interesting.
point.
That studio's doing all right. Like they just
guess-
got acquired
Yeah,
by
they just
THQ
got
Nordic
picked
and
up, so I guess they put this out with Nexon. It's only like $40,
oh, okay.
but it was, last I checked, it was the #1 game on Steam.
Nice.
It's really interesting. It's
Might check that out.
make sure you have a crew to play with.
Okay,
Because I was just about to give up on it by myself until I finally grouped up with somebody, and I was like, okay, this is where this game actually is valuable.
I'm going to be the voice of the people and ask the question: is it on Switch?
I don't think so.
Sorry, guys.
I think it's
Sorry,
on,
everyone.
I think it's only on PS4 and Xbox.
Okay.
But I mean, did you see that with the Switcher footage?
Oh yes.
Be careful what you wish for.
The thing about that is like everyone was probably watching that on a 4K stream of some sort, or like a high quality stream on a massive TV or a monitor or something.
Maybe it looks better on a small
Yeah,
Switch
scrunched
screen.
down onto a small screen. I bet that's probably fine.
Yeah,
like
maybe
anyone
so.
who's playing Witcher on Switch in this day and age is probably willing to settle for like a kind of okay.
You know what you're getting into.
Yeah, it did look like there was Vaseline or just all over my screen. I was like, "What's going on here? This looks a bit."
Yes.
But then I saw like there's some shots of like Geralt sitting down, and I was like, "That looks really good." Like, and I think that looks
The bath shot.
surprisingly. I mean, obviously the bath shot. Everyone wants to see
That
the bath
shot
shot.
looks good no
Oh,
matter.
yeah.
Yeah, that looks
How it's
regardless. Yeah, as long as it's that shot, it's Oscar worthy.
Indeed. Yeah, if you guys pick that game up,
Yeah,
let
I'm
me know,
gonna
'cause
I'm gonna check that out.
like I said, it's tough to recommend by yourself. I think like I was really burning out on it pretty quickly, but as soon as you get in there with other people, like it really starts to shine.
Awesome.
So, cool. All right.
I got one thing.
Oh my
Brett.
God,
I got
sorry.
one thing.
I'm sorry.
I think I had said in a quick look that I think this is the year of the card game, and that continues to go on for me.
Okay.
Because I this morning started playing. Oh God, it's a long name. Yu-Gi-Oh! Legacy of the Duelist, Link
boy.
Evolution.
Let's go.
Do you guys have a Yu-Gi-Oh Slack also?
Oh,
No,
we will after this.
Yeah, I don't know, man. Yu-Gi-Oh! I've never caught on. Every time I watch the anime, I've just been like, "This, you don't need to explain everything. Just do it."
Yeah, it's probably best not to watch the anime, mostly because the rules there don't apply to anything in the actual game.
Great.
So when I first started trying to play the game in like grade school, I would get yelled at because you're playing it wrong, Jade. You can't do that. You need a special summon the Dark Magician. Anyway, I didn't realize how much had been added to the core gameplay of Yu-Gi-Oh! I think when I tapered off of playing it, because I think I was playing it like tournament level for a hot second.
Oh wow.
It's dark time in my life. But I think I tapered off around when the anime had hit, maybe when they were all at that boarding school. I know no one else knows what I'm talking about. Oh, thanks,
I get
Tam.
it.
Thanks, Tam.
I know where you're at.
And since then they have like changed a crap ton of the terminology. So like a lot of the stuff that I was used to seeing is now phrased as something else. And I tried getting into the mobile game. It's like Duel Links or something. And there they only have 3 slots for monsters and spell cards, as opposed to the 5 that I was used to. So I was super thrown off there. And yeah, like this game so far, it's a port of a PC game. So it's still kind of old, but it still has the current master rules. I think we're up to 4 now. Yes.
Yeah.
Master rule 4. Where now there's Link summoning. And Link monsters, they don't have any star levels. So you have to, it's similar to the people listening at home. It's similar to ritual summoning.
Right.
In Yu-Gi-Oh, where you have to use a spell card to summon whatever. But you have to put your cards into a weird formation to get the monster out, and it's just all types of batshit insane. But the neat part that I've dipped into is that you can replay the more notable scenes from the anime with the specific deck that character had used. So you can relive when Yu-Gi-Oh had beat Maximilian Pegasus, and he was cheating with the Millennium Eye, and then like the Toontown deck.
Yes.
Insane.
I'm sorry, you're going to Toontown?
Oh, the Toontown deck was really broken, and they needed to fix that. Thank God they did.
Disney?
No.
That's something else. My younger brother has got all of the Egyptian god cards.
Oh, fantastic.
Which is just there's one character called Exodia in Yu-Gi-Oh lore, and like when you play him, you play his body parts. So it's left arm of Exodia, right arm of Exodia, left leg, body, head, and if you can get a deck where you summon all the bits of Exodia, you
automatically win.
You win. It's like you've summoned all parts of this unkillable god, and the match is over.
Okay.
Yeah.
Which is a really cool thing, but like everyone loves those cards. So my brother's got this weird like shrine style thing where there's a bunch of god cards, right? And he's got like all the parts of Exodia and all the other god cards, and it's like his like nest egg. He's like, I'm gonna get rich off this. I'm like, no, you're not, buddy. You should actually get a job.
And that's what I had to do. I had to get a job.
Yeah. Everyone realizes that they can't get rich off Yu-Gi-Oh eventually.
Just like Phantom Menace fingers.
Yeah.
And then everybody bought a bunch of Star Wars shit. This will totally pay for college someday, right?
Still got my Beanie Babies.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, card games.
Yeah, it's neat.
This is like happening now. People are
Yeah, I was talking about card games with Ben Janka on the GameSpot team, and no, it was Jake Decker actually. I was talking to Ben Janka about Triple Triad because he was playing Final Fantasy, and talking about getting into Final Fantasy 9, and then I was talking to Jake about whether Cyberpunk will have some sort of Gwent version.
Oh, surely.
And
there's gotta be something in
because
there.
we just put up a story on GameSpot where from Gamescom where they were talking about they're now, because when Cyberpunk first came out and they were doing interviews, they was like no, we're not doing multiplayer, single player. And then today they were like, we're evaluating multiplayer, which makes me think. And they were staffing up in a big way for multiplayer, but they kept it really generic as to what project. So I think everyone just went, Oh, it's Gwent. Obviously, it makes sense that they're making a Gwent game or some sort of Gwent follow-up.
Sure.
But now that they've said they're reevaluating Cyberpunk as a multiplayer thing, it could be like, oh, imagine they've got like some sort of 3D chess style thing in there, or like the idea of like almost, what was that dumb PS4 game where you'd summon monsters using cards? I forgot what it was called. Eye of Judgment. Yeah, some sort of like in-game version of Eye of Judgment, where like a cool futuristic card game. So we were kind of theorizing about whether they'd have that in there, and I'm hoping that they do. So the year of card game could become it could go into next year as well.
18 months of card
the 18
games.
months of card games.
I'm glad for these virtual card games because then I won't buy the physical cards. But after playing this and looking at the art,
wait a second, didn't you do a live
that
patch opening of Pokemon like 2 days ago?
That was about to be my last question.
Oh,
if
yeah,
you
that's
have any
still there.
Yu-Gi-Oh, if you have any Yu-Gi-Oh packs on you.
I unloaded a bunch of Yu-Gi-Oh cards onto my desk because I wanted to get them out of my house.
Okay.
But now they're at the office where I'm at more than my house sometimes. So we'll see. Maybe I'll get some games going, huh?
I bought one Pokemon card with me from the UK, and it's a Japanese Gengar. Because I love Gengar.
MVP.
Just the best Pokemon of all time.
I saw
Gengar and Gangly the Squirtle. Those are the two best Pokemon.
I saw what you guys got for Tam as a welcome gift. The
Gengar.
Gengar.
Gengar Ice.
Yeah. It was fresh.
Yeah, it's just like really garish looking. I don't know where they got it from, but it's like blinging Gengar chain that I wore, and it was kind of heavy, so I had to take it off. I was like, man, this is quite heavy. It's hurting my neck.
Yeah, you gotta tuck your chain in, when you're walking the streets.
Is it in the office?
It is in the office. I can show you later. Yeah.
maybe go grab it during the break.
Yeah.
All right. That's the games we've been playing. Now we're going to sit back and take a quick break and come back and talk about the news.
I know you've been out there dreaming. It's time to start reality-ing with Squarespace. That's right, because Squarespace makes it easier than ever to launch your passion project. What are you looking to do? You going to start a new business? Sure, why not? Showcase your work. Publish some content, sell some products, whatever you're trying to do on the web, Squarespace is the tool for you. They've got beautiful templates created by these world-class designers. They are world-class. Plus, you've got the ability to customize just about anything you want with a few clicks, and you can easily make a beautiful website all by yourself. On top of that, if you're looking to sell stuff, Squarespace has powerful e-commerce functionality. You can sell anything online. And they've got analytics that'll help you grow your site in real time. On top of that, it's all optimized for mobile. That's right, phones. You can browse the internet on a phone. It's wild. And there's nothing to patch or upgrade ever. Buying domains is simple, and you get the help you need with Squarespace's 24/7 award-winning customer support. Squarespace empowers millions of people. Designers, lawyers, artists, even restaurants and gyms. That's right, restaurants, gyms. I mean, I assume the people that are inside of the restaurant and the gym. Those are the people that are getting empowered by Squarespace to turn their great ideas into something real. Head over to squarespace.com/bombcast to get a free trial right now. And when you're ready to launch, use the offer code BOMBCAST and you'll save 10% off your first purchase of a website or domain. That's squarespace.com/bombcast, offer code BOMBCAST.
All right, Tamoor. This will only play so well in the audio version, but I need to see it. Wow.
Look at that.
Holy, that is, does that qualify as bling?
That is bling.
100%.
Jan, can we get a Pokemon
Can
expert
you see
here?
this?
Yeah, it's shining.
It's
yeah.
blinging.
That's the ice.
Look at that.
Which Pokemon is that?
This is the Gengar.
That thing
This
is...
That one you got to work hard for, Brad, because you
Lord
got to
and
trade for
Master
that
Gengar.
one.
Oh, yeah?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. The greatest
Is that-
Pokemon there is.
Is that
Yeah.
like custom made or...
Absolutely not.
Genuinely do not know where they
Or is
bought
this-
this from.
Or is
but
this just where Pokemon merch is at this point?
no, I wish it was. I wish this was officially sanctioned.
Aha,
Game Freak.
I see.
This must be like,
I'll send you some links after.
Yeah.
Okay, all right.
so
Where
you know
we
those
found them.
hyper-specific Facebook advertisements? It must be one of those. It's got to be.
That's
That's the only thing. But
Like,
yeah,
my name is Tamoor and I love
I
Gengar.
love
You
Gengar.
don't like that.
yeah, get out of here.
Yeah.
But yeah, there it is. I save it for special occasions.
That's
So,
Mhm.
fine piece of
yeah,
Fine piece of, there is no word.
thing.
lost for words.
yeah,
Jewelry?
jewelry, bling. But
It's
yeah,
called bling.
that's
Okay.
my Pokemon credit. I rock a Gengar chain.
Fantastic.
So you
I
see
may
me
have,
on the poker streets.
may have a poker stream that you should pop on
Yeah,
one.
oh,
you know?
yeah, let's do it.
Yeah.
I'm down.
Show up properly attired.
Yeah. Let's do some poking. Let's play some poking.
Oh.
Yeah, okay, I could get down.
Let's do it.
I'm garbage.
Same. I reviewed it and I'm still garbage.
All right. Pretty active week on the news front this week.
It's Gamescom.
Yeah, with Gamescom kicking off something like 24-ish hours ago, I guess. What are you guys doing over there? You guys
We sent a couple of
got a
people.
team, just a
Yeah.
couple?
This is probably the smallest team we've sent in quite a long time.
Okay.
And that I think is indicative of a few like conventions from over the years. Like E3 was smaller, and E3 Gamescom traditionally, as Lucy can attest to, and I'm sure you guys have had experience with this in the past. Like, it feels like a lot of runoff from E3.
Sure.
It never used to. So I've been to Gamescom every year since 2012. And 2012, 13 was, Sony still had their own press conference. EA had their own. Microsoft had a big show. And then that gradually started to drop off, especially when Sony started to do PSX and stuff. And then the past couple of years for us at Gamescom, we've sent about 6 or so people.
Yeah, it would be the entire UK team, and then we'd bring in like support of maybe like 1 or 2 people from the US, right?
Yeah, like there was one year like Mike, Mahadi, Danny was there, Peter was there. We'd bring people over and hit it relatively hard. But then the tide changed, and it was just, if you didn't catch this at E3, don't worry, it's still here. But this time you can capture it. And I said, well, we already have the generic B-roll or whatever that you sent over at E3.
I feel like PAX West would end up being a lot of the same stuff. It's like, it's the same build you played at E3 with maybe one new gun.
Yeah.
I think the kind of the thought was, or the thought is, so many people. Gamescom is, I think, still technically the biggest.
In terms of footfall,
foot traffic. It's the biggest of them all.
Yeah, it's
too big.
It's too big.
Quarter of a million people or something like that. It's
horrible.
Yeah.
But a large amount of those people aren't paying to go to E3, and probably a decent chunk of them aren't even paying attention to E3. So it makes sense for people, especially developers and publishers, not to bust their asses trying to put together new demos and new content material. So
it's mostly you see it for the first time at E3 and then you play it.
So but from a coverage perspective, that just means there's less of an incentive to go there and check it out. And traditionally, like we can check out the same stuff and attack it from a different angle, right? And it's put more creativity in the way you cover it. And a lot of the stuff at E3 is like almost haphazard in the moment. This is happening, let's cover it.
Yeah.
So once you know it's happening and you know it's on the table, you can come at it again at Gamescom and be like, we can take a more considered, measured, approach at it this time. But over the years, it's kind of like thinned out with Sony passing on it. I mean, like Sony are there in some capacity this year.
With what, like Erica and
I think so, and Death Stranding. So Death Stranding is there, but I think it's the same thing that they showed on stream. You get to see it
it's
again.
not playable though, is it?
No,
Erica
it's not playable.
is.
Erica, I think, is, but
Erica,
that's also
Erica
out.
came out.
Yeah,
it's
Erica's
out.
out.
So like, why would you even? I mean, people there would stand in line for a game that's been out for ages because I've seen it year after year.
Yeah.
It's like, I'm in line for Destiny 2, which I can play right now. It's like wild.
The thing about Gamescom as well, from our perspective, it's like actually working it as a show, is that because it's not as big as E3, we won't have a dedicated internet connection.
Yeah, a war room.
A war room where everyone can like decamp and pass stuff off to an editor. It's usually we spend all day going to the appointments, capturing the footage, and then you take it back to your hotel, and if you're lucky, you'll have a good internet connection that you don't have to pay €25 a day for.
And
Also, you don't get a top sheet on your bed, and they
No,
and it's
don't-
two beds put together, and
they
there's
don't put
two separate duvets.
They don't put ice in the drinks. It's
they don't
just,
they don't put stickers on your mirror while you're out. Let's say you come back and suddenly you're being advertised to while you're taking a dump, and it's like, damn, man.
Suddenly I'm in Gears of War.
Yeah.
Also, presumably, they still let people smoke in the shared press room.
No,
No,
that's gone.
no.
Europe,
Oh my God.
I think
Europe.
Europe as a whole has banned
Okay.
like,
2007,
smoking.
yeah.
It's gone. Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
07 was the last Gamescom I went to.
Yeah, that's
It
the
was a
one.
nightmare.
After that, they were like,
Oh my God.
ban smoking. We
Oh,
lost
yeah.
Brad. We can't let this happen again.
Never came back.
But like during the shows, like we're sitting on the floor
Yeah.
in like a corner of the press room, and that
Not
is
even in the press room.
not press room, the corridor of like the press
Yep.
area, which is
Yep.
dangerous because although it's supposed to be for press, most randos get in as well. Like, and the amount of times we've been halfway through a thing and like someone's either like photo bombed or video bombed us or like spotted one of us and been like, I know that person, so I'm gonna go speak, which is fine, but like sometimes it can get a bit creepy. And like that's just been so weird to cover. But like it's like Lucy said, it's so hard to cover it as a show and like and then treating it like a big show and attempting to do it on a shoestring budget with like a fraction of the resources. It's stressful and time consuming and like just not worth it. And then so this year it's been like everything is so similar to E3, it doesn't make sense to send the entire team and bring people over. So it just like I organize our Gamescom even though I'm not attending, and I'm grateful for not having to attend it, but it was like I'm just gonna create a schedule or appointment list of just the bangers that I know that are gonna do traffic and people are interested in, and anything else that's new and unexpected we'll cover. But I'm not going to see the same demo again just because it's there. So it's a weird Gamescom. Like the big thing this year that was different from last year was it's starting to eat or replicate the big conference day thing now, which we had yesterday, for better or worse. Like I could argue that maybe 2 of those conferences didn't need to happen. At the very least, should have been half an hour Xbox and Stadia.
Yeah.
Like,
So
quit wasting everyone's time.
Sure. So I mean, that is kind of the big story at a Gamescom is by default basically is that there was the stage show. So are those the other two? Like so Jeff Keighley had I believe opening night live is what they called it. Which was kind of the big one. And
yeah,
then,
he had
so
I call it the Death Stranding stalling session.
basically. So it was at Stadia and Xbox were the other two?
Yeah, so Xbox was one. I was a bit harsh on Xbox. They had some good stuff there. They made a bunch of announcements, many of which I'm forgetting already. Like, it was small stuff like,
it was like Game Pass,
a new controller,
and
Game
some
Pass.
new
Devil May
controller
Cry coming to
colors,
Game Pass, and like Cuphead is coming to Game Pass. So
Yeah.
they made it work. It's just the stuff in between where they were like, they had an announcement and then they really dragged it out, and like people talking about games for extended periods of time but not actually saying anything meaningful. Like, this is the first, like, we all know this is a marketing tool. Like, every single one of these things are a marketing tool, but usually it doesn't feel that way. Like, you look at a Nintendo Direct and that's a marketing tool, but it doesn't feel like you're being
snappy.
marketed. It's snappy
it's
and
entertaining.
like, they respect your time.
They're fooling you.
Yeah, this one, this is, and to their credit, like, not all of the Inside Xbox shows have felt that way, but this one felt like I'm being advertised to very, very slowly. So like the announcements that they made were like, okay, these are good announcements, but you could have packed that all into half an hour, something snappier,
Or a press release.
Yeah, or a press release. But yeah, so that was like whatever, sure.
So like I feel like the opening night live stuff kind of had that feel at times. Like there was some marginally important stuff in there, and then some stuff that just sort of went.
Yeah.
And then at the end,
Death Stranding.
Yeah.
I think my favorite part of the whole thing was when Jeff said, "Strand on your feet."
Yeah.
For
I missed
Mr.
that.
Kojima.
Blissfully, I managed to
I caught that and I was like,
miss that part. I didn't. I was working, so I had it on my second monitor. This is in my defense, not super paying attention. I didn't realize it was him until after that clip was over.
Yeah.
Oh, in the game.
And people were freaking out.
Mm-hmm.
And then I rewound it and actually like looked closely. I was like, oh God, it is him.
Did you? I mean, I can't remember. It must have been about 5 minutes after that, but someone photoshopped it in with Obi-Wan and Yoda.
Put him in the background.
And it was so good.
I love that Kojima like introduced it as, we're gonna have a big star in this section.
Is that what he said?
Yeah, he was like, there's gonna be a big breakout star of this. So everyone's like, is it gonna be the new D-Dog, or is it gonna be like D-Horse?
Didn't he have a thing with like De Niro where we met up with him?
Yeah, he's been meeting loads of. So we just we're preparing to put up an article, which is like a list of possible cameos based on Kojima's
selfies. On Twitter?
Yeah.
Okay.
So, and it's like
Edgar Wright said, tweeted, "Thanks for scanning me."
My favorite is
whatever.
Sakurai, who I want to be in there as Smash Man, like just talking about. He's like connected to loads of babies, and he just cannot get them all in now. BBs, sorry. Yeah, but that whole segment was just incredible.
Yeah, that was not so much a gameplay reveal as
It was
love letter to the master of ceremonies.
Yeah, it was like Jeff trying to reclaim best friend status from Nicholas Winding Refn, who it's just, oh my God. I think there was one the amount of like name drops that he's done recently. I was looking at the tweet earlier from when he had Conan O'Brien over, and he tweeted it as I had Conan O'Brien in the. I was like, he's going through friends so fast he cannot even remember their names, and I'm super into it. But yeah, that game looks weird, and I don't understand it. And
Piss though.
Yeah.
oh yeah,
There's
the urination.
You can piss.
There's a urinate option in the quick actions menu.
Yeah,
And then
then-
they made a big deal about the fact that you can't see.
yeah.
Is that
Please use what you put in Slack.
I said like we should write this as a headline that it's like Kojima confirms you can't see Norman's readers during the game.
not bad?
But no matter how hard you try, you won't be able to see his dick in the game.
Is that so?
Wow.
I was sort of half watching. Is that where he was sort of?
Yeah,
Does it seem like they
yeah.
were manually aiming the stream
So-
or something?
Yeah.
He was manually aiming the stream, and the
Okay.
area that he peed on, after he had finished peeing, a mushroom popped out,
Okay.
and that mushroom can be used as a consumable in the
Yes.
game.
Yeah.
So
But
do I? Oh, go ahead.
if you have multiple people peeing in the same area for long enough, a bigger mushroom comes out.
True to life.
I don't understand it. But
So it's basically Dark Souls
Dark Souls, yeah.
messages.
Messages, but like creating. Imagine taking the Mario mushrooms to the most horrible extreme.
Not blood spots, but pea spots.
Yeah, pea spots. There you go.
Yeah.
Just pools of piss everywhere,
Yeah.
and just like symbols and messages in them.
Yeah, it was hard to glean much about the actual
Yeah.
game from that
Just a
footage.
pool of. I just want to walk up to a pool of piss, and then you hit X on it, and it says you're in trouble.
Oh.
Have that internet.
The thing
There
that
you go.
got me is that when he started pissing, I was like, it reminded me of the first Austin Powers movie where he just kept going.
Yeah, it did. I mean, there's
just
a
kept going.
bladder fullness meter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And what did he say at the end?
And
He's
then
like,
when
nothing in the tank.
Yep, when it hits 0 milliliters in the bladder, nothing in the tank.
Yeah, that game is. I don't understand it.
It's
Cannot wait to play.
I'm fascinated to see what it is
Yeah.
when it comes
Yeah.
out, but
I
I
just
also
want to know.
my eyes kind of glazed over during the Del Toro clip,
Yeah.
The
Talk-
BBs.
constantly babbling about BBs and BTs.
And BTs and yeah, I purposefully tuned out because I was like,
Yeah.
I want to experience this in context.
Yeah,
And
right.
the context is going to be nonsense as well, but I need to give myself the best chance of understanding it.
Sure.
My current favorite thing is like the traversal stuff where they've clearly like they needed a solution to make, Sam climb rocks, and like most like AAA developers are like, oh, we got to invent a parkour system now. He's like, it's big ladder.
Ladder.
Just
Here
straight
it
up
is.
massive
Out of
ladder.
nowhere.
Pocket ladder as far as you want it
Don't
to
even
go.
have to pick it up
Go.
after you're
Yeah.
done. Just keep
Done.
going.
Just go.
There's more where that
And I
came from.
love that.
Yeah.
And I also love that Jeff was on the kind of map is marked as Ludin's fan.
Yeah.
I missed that.
Yeah.
Very
So
so.
It's not even his voice.
No,
it's
it's
not. It's
not.
Matt Mercer.
Yeah.
M-
High noon.
McCree. Just imagine that though. That's I don't know. Maybe I'm thinking too hard, but like I would be upset if I was Jeff. It's like you put me in the game, but you don't want my
I don't
voice.
trust my performance
Like what's
enough.
going on? Like I would be upset if I was
Respect,
Matt Mercer
yeah.
as well. I would be like, put me in the game. I'm doing the acting. Jeez.
I wonder
Yeah.
if, well, I mean, games performance is what, partially unionized, I guess. I wonder
Yeah.
if using his voice changes
Oh.
like the terms of
That's a good point.
his
Uh-huh.
involvement in the game
Does that mean
or something.
Jeff Keighley is technically like part of the Screen Actors Guild or something like that?
Probably.
That's amazing.
Oh.
I love that.
God, what is that?
Get
game?
those residuals.
Yeah,
Would you get residuals from that?
Maybe.
Probably.
That's what they were
yeah.
originally going for, I think.
Yeah, I mean they renegotiated a bunch of that stuff, so
Yeah.
maybe he's doing all right based off that performance.
Won the Game Awards with that.
That game is like, what, 3 months away now?
Yeah.
Or something
Ooh,
insane.
when he was
Like,
talking
it's
about
almost
Deep
done.
Crunch, wasn't he? He
Just-
said,
Oh,
he said
yeah,
something-
he's-
"Ooh."
Poor Aki Saito.
Yeah.
He said like we're in crunch period, and I went, oh, don't say that.
Don't say
That's-
that. And he's like, I shouldn't be here. I
Yeah.
should be
She's
back
like,
in the
"Oh,
studio.
lads, just don't say
so
that.
Just desperately
Don't
trying
say
to think of a synonym.
Yeah,
You can-
I mean, who knows? Maybe
Anything else?
Japan crunch period is something. I mean, based on their standard working conditions and how dedicated they are, I don't anticipate it. But
Yeah.
like a studio at that level under Sony's umbrella, you'd hope that someone's stepping in and being like, when we mean crunch, we mean you just work really hard for 8 hours.
Yes.
So and then you go home and you hug and kiss your family and friends, and then come back refreshed for a new day.
Of course.
Um,
That's surely how it works.
yeah.
Kept cutting off both Jeff and his translator,
I
didn't
noticed
he?
that.
Oh yeah. He was like, "It's my turn to talk now. I am Kojima." Cut it. But yeah, I just want to say Jeff Stranding again. Please use that
Very
hashtag Jeff Stranding.
well done.
Tweet at Kojima saying, "When's Jeff Stranding coming out?" Yeah,
Oh.
I'm looking forward to that game. I'm really excited to play it. I just can't. I don't know. I don't know.
no,
I'm
no,
scared
it's
to
like-
play
it's
it
like-
as well.
I have just no idea what it's gonna be like,
Yeah.
or
Yeah, like that last trailer. I mean, they're shooting, I guess.
Yeah, I
There's-
guess so.
They're building.
I just have
things,
no
I
idea.
guess. All the
I-
all the 4 food groups of the 4 video game food
I'm
groups.
It's so exciting to have him detach from Metal Gear and be like, this is the thing that he's starting fresh, and like this is where we get perhaps the clearest picture of what Hideo Kojima and his team are capable of. Because until this point, he's been making Metal Gear, right? Fundamentally, he has a formula and a framework to work from, and he's still. That's one of the things that I like about him. Like, even when he's making the same game, a sequel to the game, he tries to push the boundaries a bit. Like, he's not always just making, let's pull a game from a hat, like a Gears of War. Like, fundamentally, every sequel to the Gears of War games has been a Gears of War game. Whereas you come at Metal Gear and they're so weird in different ways. Like, 1 to 2 is massive, 2 to 3 is massive, 3 to 4, and 5 is like, I think 5 is probably the best stealth game ever created, if for me.
Yeah.
Behind that and Mark of the Ninja are probably like right up
Yes,
there.
I
Dishonored.
totally agree with that.
Yeah, and like, who knows what this could be? It could be something. If imagine he's just taken like, I've seen all these walking simulator type games. I'm just gonna put my own spin on it. 100% up for that. But like, we will get such a clear picture of what he's capable of, because there's that mythology built around him. But all of that mythology and the legendary status as a game developer is all tied up in Metal Gear. It's all tied up in Metal Gear, Zone of the Enders, and Konami stuff. This
30 years
yeah,
of
exactly,
history.
30 years. So this is like almost like a make or break for him. Like, if it comes out and we're like, oh, this is just hot trash, then people have to re-examine their idea of what Kojima is and who he is.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think it's gonna be, but it's an interesting kind of like moment to reevaluate someone. And I think we had the same thing with Peter Molyneux, right? Like, after Fable and all that kind of stuff, and he was making different types of games, but then everyone was like, we need to rethink the way we talk. He's still a legendary developer, and no one can ever take away his lineage and his heritage away from him. But like, we just started expecting different from Peter Molyneux.
Sure.
And it's the same with a lot of auteurs, and maybe that's the same for Kojima from this point on.
we've got to wonder about the people that they surround themselves with, who are the real decision makers, who kind of go, okay, I can see you've put forward this idea of an acorn and you can return to it and it's going to be a tree. Let's dial that back. Let's dial it back. So you kind of have to wonder what the balance is between these people, like these auteurs, and the logical
the people who are like
can actually make
ensuring
it happen.
that it all stays on track and is still like, and those people are around Kojima, and you see him now and then. But like, I think more and more you're going to see them come forward a little more. Like, that's exciting.
Yeah, it's gonna be an interesting season.
Yeah, it's going to be fun. But yeah, I mean, can't wait to play it. I want to see more.
I'm just gonna run down some of the other stuff out of that presentation. Let me know if anything tickles your fancy. As we said, Erica kind of surprise launched yesterday.
So it's not PlayLink anymore.
No, it's not.
They also replaced the main actress.
Really?
Yeah.
That sounds like a lot of work.
Yeah,
To
So
shoot
she-
everything
But
again.
she's still the original actress. Is still the promotional art on Sony's website. I don't know if they've changed that yet.
I think
but
they must have done. I saw
And
like
you were saying she's like super famous-ish,
so
right?
because I follow her on Instagram. After when we saw Erica at Paris Games Week a couple years ago, she is in the new season of It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia.
Oh, wow.
She's married to Jimmy Simpson, who's one of the McPoyles and from Westworld, and so
Yeah.
like she's just basically moved from the UK to LA
I
and
guess
just making
yeah,
it big.
it makes sense. That she's like her career's taken off, I guess.
Well, she
so.
posted on her story. She was like, "I had to give up the role because I had to travel for a different project." So like,
which makes sense. And then the new actress is good. Like, she was in Skins, I think. Was
was she?
Skins? I think it was Skins. There was something, or like, she's been in a bunch of things before. Maybe I was wrong about Skins. I thought I just read that, but yeah, she seems good, and that game looks interesting. It's available now. It's not PlayLink, but I want to check it out.
Yeah, it's basically
what is PlayLink?
PlayLink.
It's the mobile stuff.
Yeah, it was their umbrella for
Yeah.
PS4 games that you play like with your phone. You
So
can
if they
kind
got
of
rid of that,
It
Yeah,
seems
so-
like it. The last game that I remember it being a big deal for was that Planet of the Apes game.
oh god,
It sounds like you can still use your phone.
Oh,
Yeah.
to play
okay.
this game if
Great.
you
But
want,
it's not
but you can also
necessarily-
just use a controller.
Is it a different app though? It's not PlayLink.
A custom Erica mobile app.
Okay,
Is what
so
this
they had a
is.
PlayLink app at one point. I
Yeah,
think.
they did.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so maybe
God,
it's just
that-
that.
Yeah, those games were a little.
That Planet of the Apes game was
Oh yeah, that was a weird game.
Nothing super impressive.
I remember we sat in through that demonstration.
Yeah.
And then we tried to make a video out of it, and they gave us, and the only B-roll asset they gave us was a trailer that was 1 minute 30 in
Yeah.
length, and 30 of those seconds were studio logos.
Yeah, it was from that point we were like, oh, you don't want to show this game off too much.
Yeah.
But yeah,
We did get to meet Andy Serkis
Yeah,
though.
we met Andy Serkis. It was good.
Okay.
Footage that we never used.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's $10. That's out. Kerbal Space Program 2, anyone?
Whoa.
Can we get a moratorium on using M83's outro in trailers, please?
Yes.
It's too many.
A Kerbal Space Program is one of those games that I've always wanted to play.
Yeah.
Because I know that I'll just be terrible at it. I think
It intimidates me.
The trailer, I assume you guys saw the
Yeah.
trailer, it seems to really lean into that aspect with
makes perfect sense.
like a lot of seemingly very graceful space maneuvers going very wrong.
Who was it here at Giant Bomb? That's
Vinny.
was it Vinny?
Vinny is
Okay,
super,
makes perfect
super
sense.
into Kerbal.
He's moved on to Factorio
yeah,
since, hasn't he?
yes. I don't know how people are going to feel about this game because it's a different developer.
Yeah.
Like 2K acquired like the IP
Yeah.
and has a different studio on this, so I guess we'll
Yeah, it's
see.
been published through Private Division,
Yes.
I think. Yeah, so that's an interesting one. I wonder how fans are reacting to that. But yeah, I mean, like, it's got a solid foundation, so I guess whoever picks it up will kind of have a good starting point to work from. So I'm excited to see how that kind of comes. If anything, we get to see like fun videos out of it, because that's one of those games that's just like it's just endless content for Twitter and YouTube and
animated GIF.
yeah.
Yeah.
Kerbal Space Program to TikToks, and we can only hope.
There's that marketing again. Let's see. Bandai Namco announced Little Nightmares 2.
Surprising,
Not a game. Yeah, not a game I expected to see a sequel to.
Tarsier Studios coming back for that one.
Yeah, it was okay.
Yeah, the original was surprisingly good. Yeah, I mean, like, surprising and good, not surprisingly good. But yeah, it had its own like distinct aesthetic that I really appreciated, and it had a vibe to it that I really liked. And it seems like they're doing a sequel that's a smart extension of that, instead of being like, we need to come up with a sequel and let's just jam anything in here. It seems like it makes sense, and it's got like, I think, co-op element to it. Yeah. So yeah, I'm excited to play more of that. Well done to Bandai Namco for identifying a good game and giving it a sequel.
Sure. They're making a new Comanche, which probably doesn't mean anything. Anybody?
I did not
except
use
me.
it. But they acted. Is Comanche like an old franchise?
Yeah, super old.
Okay,
it was an old voxel.
Okay.
Based game on PC from like the 90s.
I swear during the presentation they were like, "Yeah, the 2004 classic is back," and I was like,
is it 2001? Okay.
I was like, "What? That's not that old. I don't think you should be calling that classic." And also, like, I had never used or heard the word Comanche written. So what is this? I was like, what is this Comanche game? I was like, should we be writing about Comanche? And the guy on the stage was like, Comanche. And I was like, oh.
It's a hell of a helicopter.
Yeah.
I did not play the Comanche games either. But there is definitely a following for that stuff.
Wait, is Comanche an actual name of helicopter?
It's
Or is it
a
a portmanteau of like Commando and Apache?
No, I think it's a Native American. I might be wrong.
Yeah, I think it's a Native American.
I have no
Yeah.
idea.
Please
I've
don't.
literally never heard that word before.
Do not write in correcting this. We're British. We don't know about attack helicopters.
They showed a little more of Need for Speed Heat.
In the most awkward presentation.
Yeah,
The VO part of the narrator saying, "And cops are bad."
Yeah.
I could take.
Everyone loved cops in
Yeah.
2019. Let's do it. And like designing, the big thing was you could like download an app and put,
You can design your car now.
you can put anime girls on your car in advance.
did not quite convince me to download their let's see, Need for Speed Heat Studio app.
What is that?
That name.
Is this the year where? Is this the make or break year for Need for Speed?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, maybe not the EA because they'll continue, trying to squeeze blood from a stone.
Really, you think so? I kind of feel like.
But in the public consciousness, like, does this series still matter or not? Yeah, if they
I think
if they don't pull it off this year, then
I genuinely think that if this one doesn't work, we won't see a Need for Speed again for a very, very, very long time.
or maybe just as a mobile game or something. like
Yeah.
You know what we need though? A sequel to the Need for Speed movie. Look, if Fast and Furious
Bring
can
it
make it
back.
work.
Big Aaron Paul fan.
Put Aaron Paul
over
back
here.
in there.
God, it's the bit where the car overturns about 7 times, and
Yeah.
Aaron Paul just screams "no" at the sky.
Camera spinning.
Yeah.
I just was like, I'm not drunk enough.
It's a shame because I really want that kind of. I feel like EA has so many like distinct titles that they could go back to and just mine, and they refuse to. Like
There's an entire graveyard of
the
IP.
vibe, the vibe of Underground. Just do Underground.
Mm-hmm.
It's not that hard. Make a new Fight Night game that is like just the classic style. Give me Def Jam Fight 4. Just do it. What's wrong with you? That's like my most wanted game, and it feels like they're leaving money on the table while they just far out rubbish kind of sequels.
Yeah.
I need Snoop Dogg to be a crime lord again, and then I need to continue to push him off of a building.
Like it's so
Stuff
easy.
writes itself.
Exactly.
I have the story in my head. Listen,
Okay.
it's old school.
I am.
Rap.
Pitch
You take the characters from the original games, the two sides, Crow's gang and the opposing gang, your gang, whatever it may be. You combine them, and the new gang is SoundCloud mumble rappers.
To be fair,
Okay.
a lot of the SoundCloud mumble rappers just look very frail physically.
Exactly.
They're not okay.
So like they're speed-based characters.
Oh, okay. Like
and they
luchador
have-
wrestlers.
Exactly.
almost.
They're like
Okay.
a new style of fighting, luchador style, and you can get like them versus the classics, and it's the fight for like OGs versus the new school. It's so easy. Let me beat up Lil Yachty or something like that. I don't know, whatever character it is as Method Man.
Yes.
It's just such a good series to bring back. I still play that game, but I mean, I can't play anymore because I left my Xbox in the UK, but that is such a good franchise to bring back. So look at the amount of artists we have now.
That's true.
That are out there, a new generation, and do not let Kudos and Oda anywhere near it because that
think you have to worry
Icon
about
game it was just hot trash.
Was Icon the last one?
Yeah,
Okay.
and it
Icon was
not
really
good.
bad.
It was so bad. I could see what they were trying to go with, and I wish they didn't go that way. But like, oh my god,
Was it just those 2 Def Jam games?
Fight
Or
for
was
New
there
York,
three.
Yeah, what was
Vendetta, Fight for New
Vendetta,
York.
yeah,
Icon.
and
In that
Icon.
order?
Yeah,
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
And then there was PSP versions of it, and it had PSP. It was what's his name that played Kratos this year or last
Christopher
year?
Judge.
Christopher Judge. He was originally in that game
Wow.
as a voice actor. So people are like, "Oh, what a great debut from Christopher Judge in God of War." No, Def Jam. He was in there. Yeah, bring back Def Jam.
Yeah, I may not hold my breath for EA to. We'll see.
If we can make a fighting game about gods, we can do it about rappers.
Yes,
True.
exactly.
True.
They are the like modern gods of
Yeah.
society, right? Rappers. Like this
that
is like
was-
American God style. You know how they.
YouTubers.
Not sure about that.
Do not make a YouTuber fighting game, please.
Oh,
If
having said
YouTube-
that,
if YouTube is simulator,
I'll tell you what. I will take a YouTuber fighting game that's built the same way that Mugen is built, and it
Okay.
only works on Salty Bet.
Okay,
so you can't
sure.
act. So you
Okay.
take really trashy 2D sprites of PewDiePie and Angry Joe or whatever, and you just put them there and let them fight, and you bet on who's gonna win.
Now I'm on board.
Now I'm bored. Yeah, there we go.
The only thing about the heat stuff that kind of sounded interesting to me was making the day-night cycle matter. It sounds like stuff gets harder at night. Like the
Right.
racers are tougher. The cops get
put your
more-
headlights on.
Yeah,
Yes, exactly. a lot of wet pavement.
Mm.
Always raining at night.
that's at least something interesting.
Yeah,
to
it's,
it. Like,
it sounds like a hook. I
as
mean,
far as hooks go, it's not the most compelling,
yeah,
but it's a hook.
Yeah.
So fair enough.
Okay.
Yeah, I think I'm with you, Lucy.
Yeah.
But like, glass half full. Let's try it. See what happens.
it's kind of a number of smaller announcements. Let's see, Sega and the Endless Space developer Amplitude has a new like sim
Civ
4X
S.
looking
More-
game called Humankind. Got a date for Witcher on Switch.
Switch.
I think you mean Switcher.
Please.
Thank you.
Got a date for Witcher
Wow,
on Switch.
he is rustled. He is rustled.
I feel a little attacked right now. October 15th for The Witcher 3, The Switcher 3.
Yeah.
That was kind of the big stuff. There's a shooter called Disintegration from one of the original Halo devs.
Yeah.
That looks cool.
Yeah, it looked
Yeah.
kinda
So
interesting.
it's apparently. So I got word from. I don't know if I should actually say it. Yeah, I can't remember if there was an embargo on it, but someone played it and said it was interesting.
They're showing it at a trade show. It's
Yeah,
probably-
it's probably
fine.
fine, but it's exactly how he describes it, which is you basically play like a weird hover cycle.
So is everybody on that hover cycle that they showed?
I think so,
Because
but
there
then
were
you
other
haven't-
characters that were on foot.
It's a bit Brutal Legend where you're
Oh, what?
where you're like floating above the
Oh,
battlefield.
they're AI and
then
you're commanding them around?
You can like control AI
Huh.
and they have special abilities and can die on their own cooldown,
Okay.
but you're like always almost in a ghost style, Halo style ghost above the battlefield shooting down, which
Huh.
sounds interesting.
Kind of.
But like the guy, I think it's Marcus Leto, is like credited for creating or at least co-creating Master Chief. So that's a lot of
Okay. Yeah, I've heard that.
the
name
yeah. That's
before, for sure.
that's the cachet he's running on. Sega also just announced Yakuza Collection,
Oh,
Yeah, this morning.
which is
What is that?
available today. So the
Oh.
remasters of 3, 4, and 5. I think it's the first time 4 has appeared on a PS4, or is that, there's something about 4 or being available as a disc or something, or in the
Okay.
West or something
Huh.
like that.
okay.
But they're like relocalized it,
Oh.
and they've improved visual fidelity. And also, they've introduced some content back into the games. So the Yakuza 3 remaster is available now. The rest are coming on one by one. So exciting for Yakuza
Yeah,
fans.
that series does not quit.
It's just doing well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A bunch of Nintendo announced a bunch of indie games coming to the Switch that I will just read very quickly. Let's see, Hotline Miami's both came out.
Interestingly, that game is now available in Australia,
Oh,
where
for the first time.
where
Oh.
it's where other versions of it are banned.
Oh, weird.
Yeah, so
Huh.
Nintendo has published Hotline Miami, and like one of our Australian editors was like, we need to figure out whether this can now come to PS4.
Yeah.
But
That's a
it's
weird- that's a
it's a
weird-
weird thing.
That's
yeah.
a weird arrangement. Super Hot also came out for Switch.
Good.
Risk of Rain 2 is coming.
Mm.
Torchlight 2.
Oh.
Yeah.
Creature in the Well got announced for September 6th. We
Yeah.
put up a quick look of that yesterday.
Looks cool.
Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah, it's an interesting pinball action game kind of mashup thing. Bunch of games I've never heard of. Freedom Finger looks pretty interesting.
Yeah.
Uh,
There's a game called The Tourist, I think, which looks good.
Yeah.
Yeah, that looks like
Like
a
a
really cool
tropical island kind
Yeah.
of thing.
game. Yeah.
Bunch of games. Ori and the Blind Forest was
Oh, yeah.
kind of
Big-
the big
yeah.
rumor from a few months
Yeah.
ago.
And it's out there, which is
Uh,
interesting. Also, follow up to that, Microsoft published or were asked for a statement today, and they say currently have no plans to release any more Xbox exclusives anywhere else, which seems like doesn't seem like they really believe that. Especially if you're just starting this initiative, like you wouldn't release one game and be like, we're done now.
Right.
I
It's
mean,
an
like,
experiment.
yeah, Cuphead is available, but
Yeah.
like, that's not that's published by MDHR.
Yeah, they did that themselves.
Also, they've been talking about, I mean, I guess, it remains to be seen if it ever happens, but they were talking about getting Xbox Live integration into that thing. And like,
yeah.
Yeah.
that seems like a lot of work to do for one game.
I think you can do it for Minecraft, right?
I think
there
achievements
is some of that
work,
stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
I
yeah,
think,
so some of that stuff is in there, but
mm.
that seems like the kind of thing that you focus on if you want to
Mhm.
maybe set the stage for more
Yeah.
games down the line.
And on the flip side, Sony talking about starting to publish more games
Yeah.
on multi-platforms.
So
Yeah.
that's
I'm skipping ahead there for the news. I'm
no,
sorry.
that's fine. So that's kind of happened around the same time, but I guess it's more kind of Gamescom adjacent,
Mm.
or the news just sort of
during the Keeleys.
yes, basically right around the same
Achilles.
time that the Keeley show was popping off.
Yeah.
Sony announced that they have the actual headline was that they have acquired Insomniac.
Good.
Which is
I mean, it's
crazy to say that
Yeah.
it finally happened because
Yeah.
it feels like this should have happened like in the PS2 era
Yeah.
because Insomniac has been so close to Sony for so long.
Except
I mean,
that
it's
brief blip.
yeah,
Sunset
where they
Overdrive.
went Sunset
Yeah,
Overdrive.
they made Sunset Overdrive. and then
Caught
they've
at the
been-
other side and then came
yes,
back.
Yes,
Yeah, and
they've
then made a game for GameStop.
yes,
or published
that's
by
right.
GameStop.
What?
That was
Yeah,
was
that
that Song of the Deep.
Song of Deep.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Song
they
of
had a
Deep.
couple of games. That
And then
were-
they've been doing a bunch of work for Oculus also. They
Yeah.
put out a bunch of
Oh yeah.
Oculus Rift games.
yeah.
But then they made Spider-Man.
Yeah, I think that's
Yeah.
what probably sold it.
Was it
And-
13.5
Yeah, they
million
announced
copies?
that
Yeah.
Spider-Man's over 13 million copies now. Game has apparently done incredibly well.
Who'd have thunk?
Yeah.
Who'd have thunk it?
Yeah.
Make a good Spider-Man game and it'll sell.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Sony's finally swooped in and made it official.
Yeah, they have upcoming games include Seedling, which is for the Magic Leap 1,
Okay.
and Stormland for Windows.
Oh, it didn't even occur to me initially because you see this and you're just like, okay, Ratchet and Clank and Spider-Man, of course. But then,
Yeah.
like, also, PlayStation VR is not a minor concern.
No.
So if they've got a bunch of like VR chops,
Also now
studio.
poised to bring back the Resistance franchise.
okay, Okay, sure.
What about Was it Fuse?
Oh God, Fuse.
Oh,
don't.
no.
Don't mention that word.
Let's not.
That is the clearest case of if you ever, you have all these stories about games that are like focus tested. Like that's the clearest case of what happens when a game is focus tested into being crap.
Yeah.
Sorry to anyone that worked on that, but
Yeah.
real talk is bad. But yeah.
Anyway, yeah. So I think it's the first time Sony's acquired a studio in quite some time.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
It's a great studio, like super talented people
Yeah,
there,
totally.
and it's good. Like the good thing about announcements like this is it's the same as when I'm not trying to favor Sony, but it was the same. This is the same thing that I thought when Microsoft acquired Ninja Theory. It was like that's a great studio, and I'm glad that they're effectively safe.
yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And they're stable. I mean, like Ninja Theory is now building a brand new studio. Yeah, Tamim, if you follow him on any sort of social network, he's been posting stuff about it, and I look at that building, I'm like, that is a studio who's now going to be comfortable and confident.
right.
And a studio like that, especially in Ninja Theory, I'm like, because I love the Ninja Theory games and everything they make. I'm like, I'm so excited to see that. It's the same for Insomniac. They're safe now,
Yeah.
effectively.
Yes.
They don't have to do things like make a game for the Magic Leap
Yes.
1.
They're on the payroll of $1 billion corporations.
Yeah, and like now they have the safety net. It's
Yes.
going to be so cool to see what they're able
Totally,
to do. I
totally.
mean, they're going to make Spider-Man 2. Let's be real, but hopefully they have separate teams making other things.
Sure.
Yeah.
So yeah, as you mentioned, it's kind of buried at the bottom of this Bloomberg story about the Insomniac acquisition was this curious quote from Sean Layden, who's the head of the Worldwide Game Studios and also like head of PlayStation US. He's head of multiple things. But here is the full language from the Bloomberg story. In an interview, Sean Layden said exclusive titles will still be part of the company's strategy, but that some games, particularly multiplayer titles designed to be played on personal computers, may see broader distribution. And then the actual quote is, "We must support the PlayStation platform. That is non-negotiable. That said, you will see in the future some titles coming out of my collection of studios which may need to lean into a wider installed base." So,
Like,
Um,
did he say my studio?
yeah.
that was the thing. Is like
interesting-
these are my machines.
My machines.
interesting choice of language, but
Yeah, and we've already had that kind of bear some kind of fruit. Shout outs to Nibel, fellow news hound on Twitter. He's pointed out about an hour ago. Ready Set Heroes, a game that's published by Sony Interactive Entertainment, now has a page on the Epic Games Store.
interesting. Okay.
So, I mean, it's going into effect quickly, and I reckon you can probably expect more of that similar kind of games.
Yeah.
I don't think we'll see like, oh, God of War is on Xbox now.
Yeah.
I think it'll
No,
be
no,
like the
it's-
service-based stuff.
Detroit
so-
Become Human.
Oh, yeah, I mean,
was
like that's
on-
I think that's them being like, just take it, leave.
Was that was on Epic Games?
Yeah, that was an
right?
Epic Games Store. Yeah. But yeah, so
But they're not first party anyway.
No, so we've already got instances of it. It's starting to happen. It
Yeah.
makes sense, right? Like,
It reminded me of a few things that, I mean, this is kind of tenuous because it seemed more like just exclusivity arrangements expiring, but like Journey and
Oh,
Flower
on
and
Yes,
stuff
iOS.
yeah,
But
showed
that-
up
that's-
on
yeah.
the Epic Game Store.
Is
Like
that-
Helldivers is on Steam
Yeah.
now. And it's like,
Annapurna did.
yeah, that's the
the
thing. I think
mobile
it's just
thing,
like
yeah.
the kind of the original
Lapse.
contract expires
And
then
people are picking it
so
up.
it's not exactly the same thing. But
Yeah.
yeah.
did you guys see and did you put any stock in this thing about Death Stranding disappearing from the PlayStation exclusive list
So
on a bunch of websites and stuff? Or-
when the game was originally announced, it was announced as a PC game as well.
So people went back and dug up that Q&A where that came out of.
'cause I
and-
remember that,
which was
and-
quickly removed from their
Mm.
website.
Yeah, so it's. I mean, if that's to be believed, it's going to be a PC thing eventually.
Yeah.
And Kojima has made no bones about putting that thing out on as many things possible, and also marketing it and having tie-ins. He was like, "I want to make action figures. I want to make anime. I want to make manga based on this." So it's interesting because that studio is funded in part by Sony.
Right.
But I don't understand the kind of what kind of multi-platform deal he's managed to, or they've managed to get out of it. It sounds. I'd love to see the terms
I
of
mean,
that
if,
contract.
if anybody's going to ink some kind of sweetheart
Yeah.
deal, it's him, right?
I was gonna say, unless he's signed something before they signed up with Sony. It's like some of the Microsoft acquisitions, they had promised things to other platforms and they said, we're still going to
Yeah,
honor all
yeah.
that, but then going forward.
This feels like it was because I think once the Konami stuff happened, like the discussion with Sony had to already been in progress. So,
Yeah, you can't just.
yeah, and he had probably gone there with a game to be like, let's make this happen. But only Andrew House knows, and he's done.
He's not talking.
Yeah, he's not telling anything to anyone. But yeah, I think it's going to appear on. I don't know about Xbox.
No,
but
definitely not.
I
Well,
see PC.
probably not.
yeah, PC would happen. It could
Yeah.
be like a Sony published game on PC. Like, there's nothing to stop that from happening. It would kind of support what they're saying now with this game, especially if they're sinking money into the game and the PlayStation install base is big. But like, they can always stand. It makes perfect sense to be like, let's also leverage the PC fan base.
So I was all excited to come in here and talk about how nice Nintendo is for letting people trade in their old Switches for the new model.
But then,
I guess Nintendo was like, wait a minute.
Stop this.
yeah.
There was a story going around, and like it was confirmed by multiple outlets because they called Nintendo support and had it stated directly to them that it sounds like, I believe July 17th was the cutoff. If you bought the old model of Switch after the 17th,
Right.
you could basically call Nintendo and they would swap it out for this new, better model.
Isn't that nice?
And then
But no.
Nintendo corporate all of a sudden came out of
Dog
nowhere.
Bowser.
Yeah. Let me pull up that quote real fast here.
Or either if you're going to get
We
the
do.
new model.
What's that?
Are you going to change your Switch?
Nah.
I mean, it is a lot more battery life, but
Yeah.
Dude, I mean, like, we flew to LA on Saturday, and I played Three Houses for 1 hour flight going to LA, 1 hour flight returning from LA, and on the return flight, it said battery low.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ooh.
It's a lot of
Thanks.
students, you know.
Dude.
Yeah.
Look, I've just got to
Takes-
get everyone through their exams and just make sure they're all going to be okay.
It's like if you care about playing the Switch, you really hope to find an outlet under your seat when you get on there.
I bought one of those anchor.
Yeah, or like a
things.
power brick is a
That's smart. Yeah, I mean, like, if I don't know, like, I can foresee myself one day in the future getting some sort of, if I've done this right, tax rebate.
Oh, yeah, you
And be
absolutely
like-
will.
Yeah, and being like, oh, I could get a home Switch and a travel around Switch.
sure.
I'll
Yeah.
be up for that. But it's just, again, like, I'm still not 100% sure about how all the game transfer and like accessing content on each one
Yeah.
works. And until that's like written in stone and doable, I probably won't like preempt buying it. And if Nintendo are doing flip flops like this constantly, I'm like, until I've got it in my hand and everyone's doing it, I'm not gonna mess with that.
Yeah. US Gamer sought comment from Nintendo who said, "We do not have a Nintendo Switch exchange program. We always want
Stop asking.
Right. We always want players to enjoy their Nintendo Switch systems, and if anything ever gets in the way of that, we encourage them to visit support.nintendo.com.
But we also like money, so
Yes.
Yeah.
tough
Well,
shit.
Yeah.
So visit support.nintendo.com where we'll promptly ignore you for a really long time.
I wonder if, I don't know, just this is like customer support reps with a lot of leeway to make customers happy until word got out, and then Nintendo was like, wait a minute, we can't do
You're doing
this.
what?
We cannot do this
Yeah.
en masse. This is
Yeah.
not going to happen.
No.
I don't know. That's
Yeah,
it's
it does
weird.
feel like one of those things where someone was nice to someone else
Right.
and then it traveled.
Yes,
Yeah.
like one person
Yeah.
pulled it off and then went on Reddit and was like, hey, if you say exactly this in a really
Yeah.
nice tone of voice, they might help you out. So
Yeah,
that's
it's like the time when I went to an ice cream van and pretended I didn't have money, so the guy would give me an ice cream so that because I saw someone else do it and it worked. And I didn't eat the ice cream; I gave it to someone else. But I just wanted to see whether it worked. And damn, I hustled that ice cream van driver hard,
How many times? Just the one?
just the once. But
Alright.
like, I felt proud. I was like, take that, save myself 99 pence.
Yeah, really sticking it
Yeah,
to
yeah.
big ice.
Have that big ice cream.
Here's a tweet from Derek Yu. Hey, Spelunky fans. Unfortunately, I don't think we're going to get to release Spelunky 2 this year. Development is still going well, and we're not far off target, but the density and detail of the game is demanding more time. Thank you for your patience.
I like that. I like the phrasing of that whole thing.
Yeah.
It's like, man, I'm bummed out, but
Yeah.
But also,
Also, there's so much cool shit in this
yeah,
game.
yeah.
So,
But yeah.
so there's that. I don't know. I feel like people were starting to be like, "Hey, when is that coming out?" It's
Yeah.
2019's like mostly over now. What's happening?
mostly over. It's August.
It's it's over half.
It's all down here
Well,
from
technically,
here.
I'm correct.
Yeah, you are technically
the best
correct.
kind of correct.
Yes, technical correctness is the best.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I guess it's a good thing that Spelunky is so playable that you can carry on playing that game until the sequel is out. But yeah, I
Take
think
your time.
anyone who likes Spelunky is willing to give Derek Yu and the team as much time as they want.
Yeah.
Because that's going to be an obsession for many, many years.
And actually, the replies to his tweets were very. Just take all the time you need.
Yeah.
It's just very
Have
nice,
fun,
very
buddy.
pleasant, very
That's
wholesome.
good to hear. I've finally broken myself of the instinctual habit of scrolling down and looking at Twitter replies, so I didn't actually see any of them.
Yeah.
Don't do it.
Yeah, don't do that. It's
That's,
bad time.
Don't read the comments.
Yeah.
it's,
We got told off because in the UK office there is one of those boards where you can put the letters in, and every week there would be a motivational message, and we would ask if we would be allowed to submit suggestions for I can't say it. Messages. And the one that we kept trying to get was don't read the comments.
Yeah, and they were not having it.
And they were
CBS
having
corporate was like, no,
none
this
of
is bad form.
Oh,
Or
but it's
like,
such good advice.
yeah, you try doing it. Why don't you be in a video and then read the comments?
Yeah. It's,
You read things about your neck
Yeah.
online.
Yeah. About how much you look like a. I'm not even gonna go. I'm not gonna go into that. I had the like peering into Hello Darkness, my old friend moment just then. I was like, no, let's not
Yeah.
indulge that. Like,
We used to print off the best ones.
yeah. I've got one on my desk, which is being called an effing weeaboo by the official Square Enix account.
wow.
Yeah.
When they got hacked.
They got hacked, and the hacker was
Oh,
like,
okay.
"I'm gonna attack this guy."
Oh, okay.
And I was
I
like,
started to say they would know, I guess.
yeah,
but,
yeah. I mean, yeah, but they're not wrong. The
um,
hacker was not wrong.
I wasn't even going to mention this in news, but I think I saw this morning that the Final Fantasy VIII remaster is
Yeah,
coming out
Yeah.
in like
As
a
a
month.
release date.
Any excitement?
get ready to spend hours and hours drawing magic.
Oh, I
from
can't wait to
enemies.
draw.
Yeah, I can't. I love that
Junction
game.
99 cures onto my sword.
Love that game.
Yeah.
Can't wait to play Triple Triad, watch Zell punch and have dolphins erupt and run around the world and listen to Laguna's theme again.
Yes.
I'm ready for it.
I never played 8.
Oh, it's so
I
weird.
saw it.
I'm still
It's a
halfway through like
strange
12
game.
right now.
It's a strange
Yeah.
game.
Yeah.
12 is great, but this one's like a weird
Yeah.
teen angst sci-fi.
Oh, I love me some angst.
Oh, it's so good.
Just weird,
It's
broken
good.
mechanics
I hate-
and absurd.
I hate that
plot
they fixed that
twists.
meme though. I hate that they
one?
fixed the meme.
I kind of was into that.
There's
The most
a
good-looking
meme.
guy in
Yeah,
the
the
room.
yes.
best looking guy in this room, and the original cut to him, and his face was just like it looked like he'd been run over by a tractor, and they fixed it, so now he looks like a Kingdom Hearts character. And you're like,
Yes. Yes.
I hate
Oh,
this.
but it's not David Boreanaz though, is it?
No, it's not Dave Boreanaz, sadly. I would have loved it if
Wait.
they had completed
In Kingdom
in
Hearts
Kingdom
1.
Hearts
He's the
Squall
voice
is
of Squall?
voiced
Are you
by
kidding?
David Boreanaz.
If you
yeah.
go back on
What?
IMDb and look at the cast for Kingdom Hearts, it is an absolute
unreal.
piss
Is
take.
that current as of now, or was that just the first game?
Just the
the
first
first
game,
two
Oh,
they
games.
they've
had...
got a different actor now.
Yeah, I
Okay.
can't
Well,
remember the
Squall wasn't in 3.
He was
Oh,
in
I see.
2, but
Yeah.
he wasn't in 3. But the cast of Kingdom Hearts was
It is quite
insane.
impressive.
Pretty stacked.
like
yeah.
Sean Astin.
I'm
from
pulling up
Lord-
the
post Lord of the
IMDb
Rings,
now.
Okay.
David Boreanaz, Hayden,
Panettiere.
Panettiere.
Oh wow. Yeah.
Yeah.
the girl from American Beauty.
All the hottest names of like 2004.
Yeah.
there's
They had the original Disney actors as well for like area. Well,
Wow.
definitely for Alice,
Hmm.
and she was like a 70-year-old woman at the time.
Wow.
It's wild, yeah.
Yeah.
It really is an all-star cast, and like they bring a lot of them back for the third game, but yeah, that's them.
David Boreanaz could have been Batman
What?
instead of Chris. What's his face?
Instead of
Which
Christian
iteration?
Bale?
Dark Knight. Yeah, instead of Christian
no,
Bale,
no.
could have been David Boreanaz.
Wait, was he up for the role?
Hell yeah, he
What?
was.
I mean, I would have been all for that.
Yeah.
I think he's too bulky.
wide. He's
Yeah.
too wide.
He's too bulky
Yeah.
for Batman.
He's-
As
Batman
someone with
needs
a
to
big
be-
forehead, he was just like a sign of like, wow, someone else can make it with a big forehead.
I mean, like I think he would have been. His forehead is big and it sticks out quite a bit, but like, I think he could make a good Bruce Wayne.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm one of
Have
those
you
people.
seen
that-
him in Angel?
I think Angel is better than Buffy.
Thank you.
Don't at me.
That's fine.
Better than
It's good.
Spike too. While we're at it,
Yep.
just saying.
Billy Zane was in it
Yes.
in Kingdom Hearts. Mandy Moore.
Mm-hmm.
Wasn't one of the members of NSYNC.
Lance Bass played
Yeah.
Sephiroth.
There you go. That is the weirdest connection.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, there you go.
I don't even. I'm just gonna move on. After that.
Yeah.
Speechless.
You cannot
At
segue
this point.
smoothly from that.
Just ground all conversation to a halt. They're making a new Saints Row. Anybody?
Why?
Anybody? They're making a new Saints Row.
Oh.
Make a Agents of Mayhem too.
According to CHQ Nordic. I mean, this came out of like sort of quasi financial earning.
Oh,
Like,
that was that weird thing where they just dropped
Yeah.
a bunch of news
Yeah.
in the
like
middle
it
of
had
the night.
it had a real like corpcom feel to it. It was
Yeah.
not
Yeah.
like here's a trailer or here is the name of the new Saints Row game. It was like
It was how do we improve our stock value
right yes,
now?
that's kind of what it felt like because there was a bunch of other news attached to this too, but that seemed like the big one.
Oh, I think in Dead Island.
I
Right.
think that's the weirdest. Well,
No, for
I
me,
think they're in contention for weirdest news, but
yeah, it's the weirdest one, but it's also like pull the thread. That's the one that
Yeah.
I just want to know way more about.
It's definitely the most depressing one.
Yeah.
So the news with Dead Island is that Dambuster Studios is now taking over Dead Island 2.
The team that brought you classic game Homefront,
Homefront the
The
Revolution,
The Revolution.
which was not especially well received. I guess, I mean, that studio is like previous kind of Crytek and
Yeah.
Free Radical.
So wait, so
Uh,
Dead Island 2, it was what? Techland?
Tech-
No, it
Techland?
started.
Then Jaeger.
Oh, did it ever start
I
with
don't know. I
Techland?
don't know if it ever started, but that Dead Island started.
Yeah, Dead Island
Yeah.
1 was Techland for
Yeah.
sure.
Then it went to
right?
Jaeger.
Yeah,
Jaeger.
Jaeger, I think.
Then it went to
Sumo.
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 Yeah.
And it's been at Sumo for years.
Yeah.
And now it's a
I
Dead
No,
don't
Island.
think
it's that
I don't think they've
Dambuster.
ever talked about it since the initial announcement that it was going to Sumo
So
from
I
Jaeger.
saw.
And now it's going to Dambuster.
Yeah, the only thing that people have seen from it
Yeah.
is tweets from the official Dead Island account going, still alive,
Still making a
still
game.
going.
Yeah.
I saw the E3 that they, and I think it was an E3 that they had first announced it.
I saw
when it
that
was,
too.
When it was Jaeger produced.
And it was
there was a
the-
trailer, but it
yeah,
was just a CG trailer.
and it was the guy like strutting down a street.
Yeah,
Yes, the
that
jogger,
one.
like the
Yeah.
real preppy
The zombie
jogger on
shit,
the
yeah.
on the boardwalk kind of stuff. Like the tone of it just did not.
And then
I
they had
played it.
Really?
I
Oh,
played
wait a
it.
minute. I think
yeah,
you're
it
right.
has been
Yeah.
playable
I
before.
think that's right. I think you're right. There was a playable demo.
There was
wasn't
that
there?
Yeah.
playable
Like
demo.
super early.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't know who's out there.
Yeah.
Actually, like Dying Light exists.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like
And
Dying Light is
fantastic.
such a better than Dead Island.
If
Yeah.
you're waiting for Dead Island, just play Dying Light.
Dying Light is so good.
It's so
I
good.
like nobody around here likes Dying Light but me, and it drives me fucking
It's
crazy.
good.
We get a
Good.
squad
It's
together.
so good.
Let's do it.
Um,
Yeah, that also Time Splitters. I think they
oh
mentioned
yeah,
that.
they
Did
mentioned
mention
that the
that?
the guy's back helping
I think so.
on a
They,
thing.
I could have sworn I saw the
Yeah, no,
word
no.
Time Splitters there somewhere,
Yeah.
to kind of
Sweet.
imply that.
oh
time.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, you're right.
yeah,
I totally glossed over that part.
yeah. So Time Splitters
Um,
is a thing.
Supposedly, Time Splitter's coming back. I will say the Dead Island stuff. It was like, I think the language was more like Dambuster is sort of assuming control of the Dead Island franchise.
Assuming
Yeah.
Isn't that how-
direct control.
Yeah,
Isn't that how they phrased it?
Yeah.
I don't
yeah.
have-
So
I
it
don't
could be that Sumo's still working on it in some
Yeah.
capacity.
Or
'Cause
it
what's
could be,
Dambuster's-
that's canceled and they're
Yeah.
gonna do something
Yeah.
totally different now. Like,
Because
who
what's
knows?
Dambuster's done since Homefront?
I don't think
No,
anything.
they've damn busting nothing.
Ooh. Boy.
I've missed these puns.
Yeah, these bad puns.
I just get them in Slack,
Yeah,
but now I get them in real life.
inflicting them on more people.
Does anybody want to put money on Dead Island 2 ever coming out?
Yeah, I reckon
Shown at E3 next year.
shown at
released
E3
the year
next year, back in 2 years as a mobile game,
Okay, sure. I would believe that.
text mobile game.
So yeah, they said Volition is quote deep in development on a new Saints Row.
Who wants that?
I don't know, man.
Who wants that?
Didn't they put it? They put something on Switch. One of them.
Yeah, they put the old games out.
I
on
think it
was-
Switch.
Was it
Saints Row
3
the
and 4 or was it just 3?
I think it was just 3.
I
yeah.
heard that port was not good.
Mm.
I heard
Yeah,
that did not
I
run
mean,
well at
Agents of
all.
Mayhem was not good. That port was not
Uh,
too great.
Yeah, I don't. I mean,
I don't know who's.
I know there's a lot of love for Saints Row with
Yeah.
at Giant Bomb
Yeah.
and the Giant Bomb community, but I think that franchise's time has
yeah,
passed.
yes,
Yeah.
that
Like-
feels like an era that kind of came and went.
Yeah, it looks like it's like that friend who keeps making the same joke way after it's funny, like, and everyone else has grown up.
Yeah.
Like GTA has grown up, Rockstar's games have grown up, and let's be clear, like that's been the main target of their jokes, right? That franchise exists as a parody of it's the scary movie to Scream,
Sure. Okay.
and like everything else has moved on. Rockstar's moved on. Like you can't keep making those
Yeah.
jokes, and like the franchise did evolve to its credit to be like more of a superhero game.
Yeah.
yeah,
but,
I,
like,
enjoyed
four-
4 a lot.
Yeah.
4 was like a pretty unique take on
I
that
think
formula.
the third is a fantastic game still. Like it's got some fantastic moments. 4 was like, okay, you're being a bit wacky now.
Mhm.
But I think that was the end of it for me. Like I just
Yeah.
lost interest.
Yes.
And
Four-
then when they
four was-
brought back that
Johnny
Agents
Gat.
of Mayhem and like Get Out of Hell, and I was like,
Yeah.
Oh, the weird thing about Agents of Mayhem is, they kept saying it's not.
it's not a Saints Row game,
but
and then they
all of the
put-
characters from
yeah,
Saints Row. are
it's
in
like,
it.
what are you doing? Just I
Yeah.
think that's one. Its time has passed, and then at the time where they could have like pivoted into something different, they fumbled it.
Yeah.
And it's done now.
Yeah.
Like, sure, if they bring, I'm willing to be surprised, but I'm not holding my breath for an amazing Saints Row experience going forward. But surprise us.
Totally. And then yeah, like we mentioned, this is where the news about Gunfire Games being acquired came out of.
Mhm.
So that's
Mhm.
cool.
They've been buying a lot of studios recently.
Yeah.
THQ.
Mm.
Yes.
It's really interesting.
Yes, they have.
It's
Where's that
weird
money
how
coming
THQ is back
Yeah.
in such a strange way.
Mm.
That's what we're
Without Rachel Bilson's dad involved.
doing. Sure.
Who's the ex-comic Marvel comic guy, Danny Wilson, right?
God, I
He
forgot.
worked
Yeah.
at Marvel
Yeah,
Comics.
I think, yeah.
He worked at Marvel. I think it's Marvel Comics. Yeah,
Yeah, the name sounds familiar.
Or
yeah,
at least it's new people wearing THQ masks.
yeah. Just the skin of former THQ executive.
Yeah. Kotaku published a report last week about the creative director on Halo Infinite leaving 343, Tim Longo,
Mm-hmm.
which they described as
Totally fine. Nothing to see here. Keep moving.
Yeah.
Game's still coming out.
yeah.
They described that as part of a leadership shakeup that arrives late in the development of the next Halo game.
Does one do leadership shakeups? The shakeups tend to arrive at towards the end
I
of
don't know.
I'm not sure about that one. I think that's where like anyone like those leaders are the anchor of a project, right?
Yeah. You
So like
But he hasn't. So usually when that kind of happens, right, they will say where they're going.
Yeah.
And it's usually onto another exciting project. Because didn't that happen with CD Projekt? And
yeah,
he went to Activision?
I think so. Yeah,
I think he went from Cyberpunk to Activision.
yeah,
This one just
Yeah.
seems to have been, oh, we've been found out.
yeah.
And
Yeah,
Tim,
this
Tim
goes-
Longo's not making
Yeah,
a
any
statement.
comments.
It's 343
Yeah, if-
saying
yes.
it's fine.
Someone, clearly
Yes.
someone noticed this, and this
Yeah.
wasn't a thing like, oh, I'm done now, so bye everyone.
Yeah, but the Kotaku story also does not provide a lot more context about what a quote leadership shakeup actually means in terms of other roles.
Yeah,
and
I
stuff.
guess I mean like this is me being that typical outsider looking in and thinking I know how it works. I clearly don't. Like,
Sure.
I just know small things from speaking about, but like my impression is like that kind of someone on that level leaving at this stage of a project that they claim is late in development, but we've seen little to nothing of.
Yeah.
Like if there is as
Love
late,
those CGI
yeah, love those CGI. Like
trailers.
I think it's wild that they're like, oh yeah, we're like in the later stage of development where we can like have shakeups like this, but we're like, no one's seen the game. Like we've seen an engine, we've seen a warthog bouncing around, and kind of like the illusions of to Halo. But
I thought for sure going into E3 this year that we would see
Yeah,
a
we-
full on
Yeah.
No.
just like pull the lid
Yeah.
off, like full on gameplay demo.
so like my
of this
understanding
thing.
is like this is when the people who are in those leadership positions have the firmest grasp on what the game is and where it's going.
Right.
So you want to hold on to them so the project doesn't go awry.
Right.
And maybe the counterpoint is the person who stepped up to take that role has that knowledge, which is fine, whatever. But there's just enough weird circumstances around it that you're like, is there something more happening here? Or at the very least, it's not a great sign to me. And like, I guess Microsoft and 343 need to do something to kind of a gesture to show that things are okay.
Yeah.
Put some gameplay out there. Just have a grunt falling over. Give it to us in the new engine.
Yeah.
Got
Getting
a lot
stuck
of
by a grenade.
Master Chief Collection news recently, though.
Yeah.
Maybe they're thinking, hey, just focus on this.
Yeah, look at
focus on
this.
look
This
at
game
look
is
at
coming. We're remastering Reach. Have fun.
Hmm.
Which apparently is good.
I'm not a Halo girl.
Reach is pretty good.
Yeah, Reach is a great game, but like the
Reach
remaster.
is a very good game.
Yeah. But
yeah.
yeah.
I mean, the Halo Infinite is currently scheduled for late next year. But-
Who is it who stepped up to his role?
Let's see.
I think they mentioned-
Yeah, they mentioned her name. I forgot it.
Our executive producer, Mary Olson, will now take charge of the campaign team on Halo Infinite as the lead producer.
Wait, but he was creative.
He was creative director.
So-
She's the lead producer.
So there seem to be some like slightly confusing titles in the mix here.
Mm.
The overall creative the overall creative vision and production of the game remains led by Chris Lee, studio head of Halo Infinite.
Studio head of Halo Infinite.
Yeah,
Excuse me. Wait. He's the studio head
That's the,
of Halo Infinite.
That is
so
the-
what is Bonnie Ross's job? What's
From-
Frank O'Connor
Yeah,
doing?
what is Frank
Or what's
O'Connor-
Kiki Wolfkill doing?
Frank is like
I-
franchise custodian, right? Like he's like
Custodian.
I don't know, he's official custodian. So he's like, no, you can't have Master Chief in pink right now.
Why not?
Doing the Fortnite dab dance. No,
Oh, okay, yeah.
let's not do that.
That
We
makes
must
sense.
protect Master Chief at all costs.
I understand.
He's that kind of person, I think. But the rest of
A
them,
brand manager.
yeah, he's Master Chief's manager.
I mean,
But like
this-
Bonnie Ross, Kiki Wolfkill.
This could be making a mountain out of a molehill.
Yeah, probably.
There's
Yeah,
no way
probably.
to know.
But we love a bit of drama.
Indeed.
quite dry
It's
recently.
boring right now. We need
Yeah.
to make stuff happen.
No. I certainly want that game to be good.
Oh God, yeah. I'm very ready to get obsessed with a Halo again.
Yeah.
So ready.
But it needs to be something new. As
Yeah.
we've said over and over.
If you come back and you're like, oh, Spartans can sprint faster now, I'm gonna be like, relax and get out of here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A couple more quick stories. It was kind of a bummer last week when we talked about the Minecraft Super Duper graphics upgrade pack being canceled, and then now a week later, here they are saying, "Hey, we got ray tracing."
Ew.
I don't know if you. I'm sorry.
Who's doing that? Who's
Some
out there?
It just sounds like
No, as in like who's out there playing Minecraft looking like I need ray tracing in this game.
But this seems like a pretty active scene from what I've seen. Like, I don't know if you did you
Yeah.
see the fan made ray tracing mod a few months ago?
Yeah.
Like, there are straight up like Patreons running, funding development and stuff like that. So there is
Did you see
an audience for this stuff.
Middle Earth in Minecraft?
I think those are the people that want it, right? Like the people who are doing like
I want a shot-for-shot remake.
I want it. I want a reason to. Well,
Start.
I don't know if I'm quite
I
ready to buy an RTX card.
I
but,
discovered
like,
Minecraft really late, like embarrassingly late.
Oh, don't get me wrong. I don't want it to play Minecraft
Oh, okay.
necessarily. I just want it
Oh,
to
yeah,
Oh
yeah,
no,
play
I
with,
want an
yeah,
RTX.
play
yeah.
with fun
Yeah, yeah.
graphics technology.
Yeah. On that in that regard, I'm 100% on board. Like
Okay.
ray tracing. I'm just like Minecraft. Why though? Because
I mean, I got nothing against
yeah,
it.
I remember there's a stream of me playing Minecraft for the first time. It was during an Extra Life, I think, and it was like mind blowing for me. Like
Wait,
I had
which
just
Extra Life? Like GameSpot?
it wasn't. Yeah, it was a GameSpot Extra Life. So
You
I
never
came.
played Minecraft?
I'd always like. It's one of those games where like I write about it and
I was
like
gonna say,
I'd
how
never
did you get
just.
through like 20?
It's,
when did
it's
it come
one of
out?
those things where I wrote
2012?
about it, but I never understood the magic of it until
Yeah.
I played it.
Because I didn't
and then
pick it up
was
until
like,
it came out on
"Holy
Xbox.
moly."
In
Yeah.
like 2011, 2012.
Mm.
Because that year you just couldn't escape it.
Yeah.
But I got bored of it very quickly.
Minecraft is a good game, but I don't know if I
Great
need
game.
like bleeding edge technology in my Minecraft.
Yeah, that seems like a good test bed.
Yeah, I
for,
guess
for
so.
some stuff like this.
For the people out there remaking like Earth in Minecraft and
Sure.
stuff like that.
Yeah.
Um,
It looks cool.
it looks nice. Like there's
yeah.
a couple trailers out there that's got some pretty eye-popping stuff in it.
Mhm.
Sounds like this is only going to work for the newer Windows 10
Right.
Bedrock
Mm.
version, and not the Java version that all the mods are for and stuff. So
Yeah.
that's
Right.
not
Oh, that's a shame.
going over super well. But those cards continue to be very expensive.
Shout out to Minecraft.
Well, I mean-
I haven't done a shout out for a bit, and Chaim, if he's listening, would get upset. Shout out to Minecraft.
Because AMD haven't done their ray tracing stuff. yet, have
No,
they?
there's
I
a
imagine
lot of-
once they do theirs, the prices will.
Yeah, well, they're obviously behind the hardware in the new consoles.
Mm.
So yeah, some of that stuff's being kept close to the vest, but the real question is if there's like a version of that technology that's kind of platform agnostic that comes
Mm.
along, because like
Yeah.
the NVIDIA stuff only works on NVIDIA cards right now.
Mhm.
So hopefully there's a little bit more generalized stuff coming in the future.
Can't wait to see it in
All right.
all the games.
I like how every news story you're always ending with a little positive.
Yeah.
Can't wait to see it.
I'm
Gotta bring the mood back up a little
I'm a
bit.
glass
Yeah.
half full kind of guy.
All right.
Except for when it comes to Overwatch.
I was gonna say I play Overwatch with you. Glass half filled with salt.
We always hurt the ones we love.
Yeah,
It's the tough love.
it always be your own.
Just gonna read this last headline verbatim. Evo 2019 attendees may have been exposed to the measles.
Let's go.
Dude,
We've got
the UK
multiple people.
The UK just lost its measles-free status. There hasn't been a case of measles in over 3 years.
Was
and
there one?
then, Yeah, because people aren't vaccinating their children.
Oh no,
So,
that sucks. We had multiple people go to Evo because when that happened, I remember.
Where do you think Michael Hyam is
Yeah.
today? No,
I
he's,
like
he's
we were
vaccinated,
playing
he's fine.
Smash, and then I looked at my phone, and it said like Evo attendees might have measles, and I looked up, and I was sitting next to Chaim and Max, and I was like, "Good Lord, what's happening?"
No, they both said they have.
Yeah,
had-
they've been vaccinated, so it's all good.
up to date on the shots.
yeah.
Just get vaccinated.
The Southern Nevada Health District issued a warning or advisory. Not necessarily an Evo attendee. I should be clear.
Yeah, it could have been anyone.
It could have just been somebody else who happened to be at one of these affected hotels at the same time. But it was in the Evo window.
Says you're right for going to.
Let's be honest.
Mandalay
If it
Bay,
is an
innit?
Evo attendee, it was probably an Undernight player.
Ooh, boy,
I'm joking. I love Undernight.
that's those are strong words. That's
Yeah, I
Oh,
mean,
but yeah, because measles, I was looking it up. It doesn't necessarily present.
yeah.
For a
No,
few
this-
days,
This
so you don't know
says
you
this
have
says
it.
10 to 21 days for symptoms to
Yeah.
become apparent. Also highly communicable just through the air, apparently.
Yeah, it's not a good one to get.
Yeah.
No.
So
It's treatable now.
Yeah,
though,
I think
right?
it's easy to manage mostly, but
It's like one of those ones that you have.
yeah,
This is the thing. I have no knowledge of measles because I've lived mostly a life.
yeah,
with it being-
never seen it.
Yeah,
Yeah, same. Yeah, I think that's mumps you're thinking about.
the one that you always have.
You look like the one where you get
Oh,
the
yeah.
thick glands.
ooh.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Ugh.
because I've seen people with mumps
I've seen
before,
people with
and
mumps.
it's like scary. But
My
yeah,
next
It
door
just
neighbour had
sounds
mumps.
gross.
yeah,
Yeah.
just
Mumps.
get vaccinated. Just get
Get that.
vaccinated.
You have an MMR here?
Yeah, do you
Yes.
have them? Yeah, there you go. Get on that. It's hot. It's good.
Doesn't. Oh, that was the guy that said it caused autism. That
Who-
was the
what?
in the 90s. There was a guy who.
Wakefield.
Yeah, he just pretended.
I believe he was one of yours.
Yeah.
I think I may be wrong, but
You are not wrong. Yeah, he published a paper that said the MMR vaccine caused autism with no evidence.
Grow up, Wakefield.
Yeah. And
we're very Russell.
We're very Russell by this generations later. Yeah.
yeah,
Again,
it doesn't.
get vaccinated.
Yeah, just get vaccinated.
Stop messing around. Yeah. Evo was great though. In other news, in related but other news,
Sure.
Evo was
Mhm.
fun. It was good. Yeah.
Sounds like it's been.
Shout out to Tekken 7 winner from Pakistan, my homeland. Just
Oh,
rolled
yeah,
up.
yeah, we talked about that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Mhm,
good lad.
Sounds like a good story.
mhm.
Yeah.
You guys want to read a few emails?
Emails.
Wow. Man, where did
Really
where,
wants
where were the
Yeah.
emails? Where were the emails sent to?
Emails. No. Damn it.
Pop quiz.
Podcast at giantbomb.com. Is that right?
Pretty close. Damn. Bombcast.
Bombcast at.
I'll give you a pass.
I failed.
You have
I've
dedicated.
exposed myself as a fraud.
Seeing as you just dedicated 3 hours of your workday to being on our content, I think I can see fit to give you a pass. Yeah, here's a few emails that were sent in, such as this one from Justin in Kansas. I posed to my wife that waffle fries are an inferior product to my beloved curly fries. She disagreed, and as all good arguments go, we took to our friends and family to solve this greatest question facing this generation. On Facebook, after roughly 18 hours and quite a bit of cyber warfare between my wife and I, the results stand at a dead heat with 18 curly fry patriots and an astounding 18 waffle fry apologists. As all good marital problems must legally be resolved by the folks at Giant Bomb. You guys are
Honorary.
Honorary today.
members.
I was gonna say, like, I bet you this person was like, I'll get Brad, Jeff, and Ben to sort this out, and tunes in to have Lucy and Tamoor along with Brad.
He wants us to weigh in, but do you guys have any like weird UK variant of fries that excuse me, chips?
Chips
that I
thank
should know
you.
about?
Chips. We we
We
have
have-
curly fries.
Oh,
We
you
do.
guys do the malt
Thick.
vinegar thing, right?
Yeah.
Is
So-
that the standard in the newsprint?
So yeah, in the newsprint, but
You
they
get your
are.
news and some carbs.
Do you get this like ink come off on the
No, it's fine. It's fine.
It's
No?
fine. I mean, you
Yeah.
don't taste it. If you're
Probably
having
safe.
fish and chips, it's the big thick
Mm.
fry. Oh god,
Thick.
no, thick chips.
Yeah.
But every time I've had fish and chips here, they always serve it with fries, and that's very strange to me.
Wait, is there actually a difference?
Yeah, it's like
Fries
Is
are
there a-
thin, right?
Oh,
Fries
they
are-
can kind of be. Well, there's steak
So
fries,
steak
there's
fries.
waffle
Okay,
fries,
that's
there's
what you
curly
so
said.
like
fries,
a
there's
French fries.
shoestring, I guess, is
Steak
one.
fries here and most places, they're like crunchy. So like fish and chips are thick, but they're like soft and
Are they
super
mushy?
absorbent.
You
Yeah,
can-
super
you
absorbent.
definitely will find some steak
get
fries that are
Okay.
on the mushy side.
Mm.
Right. We do have, so like, to get back to, just to clarify, waffle fries are like, they look like waffles.
Yeah,
but
literally
Yeah.
just
cut in a
cut
waffle
in.
pattern.
So
yeah.
like, I see advantages to both.
Mm.
So the waffle fries are good for, if you put stuff on it, it retains it
Yes.
on there.
If you
Definitely
scoop
more
up
s- more s-
ketchup,
Yeah,
That's-
you'll get more of it. So
Or
I
s-
think,
or
it's got
surface
more
area.
give.
yeah,
Yeah.
as with all good marriages, you need to come to a compromise.
Okay.
That's the advice here.
Mhm.
So it depends on what you and your wife want out of your fry eating experience.
Mm.
If you want to have a little bit of a like condiment on it and have a wacky time eating your fries, then you go for the curly fries. You let them bounce a bit and then you put them in your mouth.
It's like a pig's tail.
Yeah.
So I like that idea. However, there is a fundamental problem with curly fries in that if you get the ones that are really like a close spiral,
Tightly. Yeah.
tight,
Corkscrew.
they're good.
Yeah.
But if you get the ones that have, just collapsed a bit, they're no fun to eat
Yeah, there's nothing
no
worse
fun there.
than a limp curly fry.
because you pick it up and half of it falls off.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so my vote goes to waffle.
Okay.
As much as we did some conflict resolution training the other day.
This is the chance to pivot,
Yeah.
as they say in the conflict
Wait, did
resolution.
you guys work on your EQ?
Oh, I haven't done. I'm
Oh,
doing my
that's a different
EQ on
one.
Monday.
Different
I don't know what that is.
We
What's
did
EQ?
conflict resolution.
I see. Okay.
Yeah, she was like giving us conflict resolution stuff, but I was like, all right, this sounds like just being a good human.
Mhm.
So like,
Let's pivot.
no, let's not. Let's just.
I hear what you're saying.
I hear what you're saying. I hear what you're saying, and just to be so that we're on the same page,
Yep.
we want to establish that you are husband and wife, and life goes on regardless of what fries you like. You still love each other.
You know, marriage is give and take.
Marriage is give and take.
There's room in the world for
Yeah,
both.
in any given week, you'll probably have the opportunity to eat both waffle fries and spiral fries.
As part of a balanced diet.
Yeah, so as part of a balanced diet, sharing each other's love, appreciate what the other person likes,
Mhm.
whether it's waffle fries or curly fries. Just enjoy the fries and each other's company,
Yeah.
and may you have a long and prosperous marriage.
That's good advice. Here's the real question. I mean, I assume you guys have curly fries over there.
We do.
Oh,
Are they drowned in seasoned salt? Because that's kind of like right, Jan? Like, isn't it
Yeah,
kind of understood
yeah.
that curly fries here are like seasoned beyond any recognition? Basically,
I
like that's
find-
kind of part of the
They're a
experience.
definite
I find
hue.
regular.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there's an orangeness to them.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
They are
Okay.
that
If
color.
I'm eating
So I don't know if
curly
that's
fries,
part of this equation or not.
if I'm eating curly fries, I want that.
yeah, okay.
But I've had waffle fries that are the same.
Okay, I
So-
don't think I've ever
Ah.
seen that.
Mm.
They're just straight up potato.
Oh yeah,
Ah.
that I've not had.
I've
much
had the
of,
ones
yeah.
that are doused in seasoning.
Yeah, I like seasoning, a lot of seasoning. Chili, I like chili fries
Yeah.
a lot. So I'm good with that.
Mm.
Okay.
Chili fries are great.
You guys ever get the animal style fries at In-N-Out?
Animals.
Oh, it's
Oh,
it's
Is that like
horrendous.
We need to
cheese
make
and
a
stuff
field
and-
trip.
I only did it once. Are you into it?
Oh, hell yeah.
Oh my
I love
God.
that shit.
Oh my God.
Explain what animal fries is.
You may know better than I do.
Yes.
It's-
So it's the In-N-Out fries.
Yeah.
And you throw some grilled onions on there. Some of the
Oh.
spread. The spread
Oh.
is basically just ketchup, mayo, and relish.
kind of like it's kind of Thousand Islandish.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
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 And then throw some cheese on that.
Yeah,
bad
there was
boy.
a lot of melted cheese on those things.
Good
Ooh.
lord.
Oh
Chef's kiss.
boy.
Flags.
Like
How
fully
I-
loaded.
I've-
Yeah.
Yeah.
Over the last since you've started, Jan,
Yes.
a consistent part of you being on this podcast is talking about some wild trash that you eat.
Ah, dude.
How are you still in shape?
Nonsense.
'Cause you look
this
great.
is all just like chest up. No one sees the bottom. That's the
I've
best
seen the
part.
bottom,
Our
and
seating-
every time I'm like, that man looks
Our
good.
seating is strategically designed
you know.
around here.
Thick thighs save lives.
See, if I eat that stuff, I'm just be rolling down hills for the rest of my life.
That's the secret. You just got to roll down the hill. You burn enough cows.
Yeah, I'll try that.
Yeah.
Mm.
Oh,
Let's do it.
God.
I think there's only one In-N-Out around.
There's like 3.
Here?
Oh, is
Oh,
there?
really?
Yeah,
Yeah.
there's the one in Fisherman's Wharf still there.
One wharf,
Yeah.
one in
Oh, yeah.
Daly,
Daly
City,
City.
Mhm.
the triangle.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
The triangle of taste.
Got to be careful up there. It's always very gloomy around there.
I know, it's great.
Yeah, it's very
You
appropriate.
just get used to it.
Yeah,
And then you're like 10 minutes away from like 12 cemeteries.
yeah. There's just a pall over. Yeah,
Awesome.
that's right.
Yeah.
There's all those
Mm.
cemeteries right off the highway in
Yeah.
that same area.
Shout outs to Colma.
Yeah.
More dead people than there are actual
God,
people
that-
living.
Wow.
This is a graveyard town. We just get food emails now. by
Yeah,
the way.
I'm all
If
for
that's-
it.
if That's
Fantastic.
okay. Kyle from Indiana, you have already paid for your food. The cashier asks you to pull forward. What is the longest time you are willing to wait before driving off?
I
This is
wouldn't
a
drive off.
weird
now.
email.
Why
yeah,
would
like
you do that?
who's going to just drive away instead
Oh,
of
are they
yeah.
talking about like parking and waiting?
No, this is at the drive-through.
So you've paid for your food.
Yes.
So I assume drive-throughs work the same way, where you kind of
Like 1, 2, 3 windows.
yeah, you get one window where you place
Cool.
your order, and then
Change that now. It's like the little
Button
microphone
thing.
outside.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
I mean, like if I've paid for food, I ain't going nowhere until I've got my food.
Yeah.
yeah I'm
I-
going
I-
to be at the front of that line.
Yeah,
I largely posed this question because I find it bizarre.
I am
Who's
standing
gonna
up
drive
out
away?
of the sunroof screaming, "Where's my food?"
Right. Who's going to drive off and not get the food?
Yeah.
I feel like there's a story there.
yeah,
Yeah.
if there's some sort of like
Maybe
story there, maybe follow up. or
Needed a
something.
little more context
Yeah.
around that stuff.
Yeah.
For sure.
for sure.
All right, it's remarkable. Here's a video game email.
Oh damn.
This is from Brian. On September 19th, the Nintendo Switch's online program will be 1 year old. So where are we? Voice is so garbage, it wraps back around to being tragically amusing.
Mhm.
50 NES games, 35 of them are pretty good for NES games. Tetris 99, and a phone app supported by literally 6 titles. So 2 questions. Has it been worth the $35 a year? I went with the family plan. Obviously, it's like 20
All of GameSpot UK is on Tamoor's family plan.
Wow.
Yes.
Man, you guys are
I'm
really
daddy.
great. Wow, you guys are really making it work. How many can you have on one plan?
8.
Okay.
There's a wild amount of people that you
Yeah.
can put on. I think it's 8. Yeah.
And it's a flat rate?
I saw
is,
it.
right?
Yeah. I saw it like discounted through. I think it was a Wario link or something, but Wario 64 link, and I was like, yeah, I'll get that. And then it was like, oh, I can get the family plan for. It was like 15-20% off, and then I was like, I only want it for Tetris. And I can just put other people on it. Like I put all my brothers on it, and I was like, I've still got like so many spaces. I feel like just to get my own money out, my own value out of this, I should put everyone I can on it.
Sure.
Next
So I
time,
put like everyone on there.
I haven't used it once.
I used it for Tetris. It's a great game.
Brad, let's get that for the office.
We should probably do that.
It's well worth
expensive.
it. Yeah, it's
Expensive,
worth
yeah.
expensive now, baby.
So yeah, his 2 questions are: has it been worth the money? And 2, what features or changes, if any, do you expect as they try to convince subscribers to let that auto renewal go through?
Cloud saves for every game.
Oh, would they still not support every game?
Not
I don't think so.
every
no.
Oh, that's right. There's like
game.
I know like Dark Souls Remastered doesn't have it. Like
Mhm.
games
Yeah.
where they think people will cheat by being able to back up their save.
Yeah. I think that whole thing is a bit bare bones still,
Mm.
which
Yeah.
this far into it is ridiculous and at the same time unsurprising from Nintendo.
Yeah.
It's the one thing that they've developed and come so far, and yet that one part of it is like, how have you still screwed this
Yeah,
up
and
so badly?
Consistently some of the best games in history
Yeah,
Mm.
I'm
for
like, even when
decades, and yet this one thing.
it's weirdly tragic that even when they're making, like, taking steps forwards in online gaming, like Tetris is a great example
Yeah.
of that. Splatoon 2 is a great example of
Yeah.
that. Smash is a great example of that. They have these cool features to allow make interesting online experiences, and then just like, you can't play this though. And if you want to have fun with your friends, absolutely not. No.
Who do you think you are?
Yeah. I mean, like, looking forward, I think the thing that I want, I mean, there was that kind of file or document that people uncovered about a wireless Super Nintendo controller.
Yeah.
Mm.
Seems like the perfect time to have one of those when
Yes.
you're introducing SNES games
Yep.
to Super Nintendo games. I don't know. How do people say it here? SNES? Super
That's
Nintendo?
what I say. There's
No,
definitely
yeah.
some
SNES.
contention.
SNES.
SNES.
SNES, which is way too many syllables.
SNES
SNES.
games.
SNES.
Yeah. Yeah, so SNES games.
Figured this one out though. I always said NES, but SNES. I don't.
Yeah. Because NES is
NES
just
doesn't
NES.
sound
weird.
right.
Also, it gets confusing with the character
From-
NES.
yeah.
And,
Sure. Okay.
yeah.
I'll buy that.
Yeah.
Um,
So that's what I want. I'd love Cloud Save. I'd love a functional online voice chat system, so I don't have to keep firing
Yeah.
up Discord or
Yeah.
I mean, it's just not there. I honestly, I don't think they care,
They don't
especially
seem-
about voice chat.
they don't
I don't
seem
think they
to.
care. I think they're fine with like, we'll make it. Anyone who really wants to do this will figure out a way to do it.
Yeah.
Everyone else is children that we're protecting.
Seems to be the case.
Protect the kids.
Kids.
Yeah, we're just under a month until that date rolls up on us. So
Mhm.
I guess that's still time to announce Super Nintendo games. That's-
Yeah.
I mean, that could be a direct. That could be like a email goes out Monday morning, like, hey, we're having a direct on Wednesday, and then Wednesday comes and it's like, here's Super Nintendo.
To their credit, they are doing cool things with the NES games that they're releasing.
Yeah.
Mm.
Like, it's good that they are actually, thinking about the ROM world and how people play games in that kind of, and giving people who have played those games to death a reason to try new things and save states or
Yeah,
starting,
those
like,
kind
weird,
of pre-made save games that they've been
pre-made
putting out
weird,
are kind of cool.
and updates and adding weird content to it. And so
And that's
I
just
appreciate
that
that.
app
Yeah.
is just generally pretty pleasant to use.
yeah, it's good.
I will say the one thing that Nintendo does online better than certainly Sony is if you move country.
Yeah.
It's very easy to
Oh.
change the region.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Unlike Sony, which
No.
doesn't let you at all. I can't use an American card on my English account.
Oh,
So I have to,
I guess so,
if I
huh?
want to buy anything from PSN, I have to get money from my US account, send it to my UK account, buy
At
it.
which point you're losing some money, right?
lose money through
Transaction
fees and all that stuff, and conversion.
Right.
And you can also only buy from the European store, right? Like you
Yes.
can't buy
Mm-hmm.
US games with your European account.
No.
And if I get if I'm fortunate enough to get a code for something, it will typically be an American code.
Yeah.
So I have to use it on my
Oh, yeah.
Smurf American account.
So
But because it's set to a primary, I can still get the trophies on my.
I
UK
never cared.
account.
I never cared about that up until I reviewed Sekiro on a US account, and
Well-
had none of my trophies carry over. And like I don't care about trophies, but like it's a weird gamer
Yeah.
power play that I always try and get the platinum from games to be like, don't at me, I'm the best.
Mhm.
But like I don't know, there's something about playing
Well, I
not
told
having
you
all that done.
My Sekiro save got locked.
Yeah.
Got region locked because I was playing it on my account in my bedroom, and then my roommates were gone for the weekend, so I was like, oh, I can play it on the 4K TV. Took it, and then Greg had it downloaded, so I booted up my account, played it through there, and it region locked my save to his North American PlayStation.
Oh,
Super cool system.
yeah.
Very-
Sony is.
very
Thanks,
well-
Sony.
Very well thought out system.
Grow up.
However, Nintendo,
Yes, please.
super easy.
Yeah, Nintendo don't
Thank you,
care.
Nintendo.
It's so easy because they don't give a single crap about it. Like,
Occasionally, it just works
whatever,
out.
do what you want.
Here's a question for you guys,
Ooh,
being Europeans.
Love questions.
for now.
Do you know how J's are pronounced in Finnish? Maybe you know from cultural osmosis. Has that ever leaked into your brain?
I think it's soft.
Can we have a word? That's
word?
an example.
No, it's a name. It's a gentleman's first name.
Isn't it like a Y sound?
That's what we theorized last time, but
Yarko?
I don't know if that's
Oh yeah, but y'all.
Jarl, Jorgen.
Yeah.
my baby.
I
I should really. We get just enough emails from
Is-
Finland
is
that I should really
fjord-
educate myself.
Is
Fjord
fjord?
has got a J in it.
Oh,
Yeah.
But is that
Is
is that
that-
Finnish or is that
is that
Norwegian?
Norwegian?
Maybe I don't know. I'm gonna say it's a Y sound, soft Y sound.
Yeah.
Okay.
This is based on guessing, like a good feeling.
I just based
If
mine
we-
on Skyrim.
yeah.
So, don't trust me.
If we offend you for doing this, we're very sorry. We just took an honest attempt at it.
Yes. I've been trying out some games on the iPad iOS beta with a DualShock 4.
Oh,
Damn.
It's very easy to set up and works pretty much how you'd hope. Apple's arcade subscription service is around the corner, multi-platform support, supposedly large library, and the fact that everyone has an Apple-compatible controller in the house now makes me hope that devs start porting console games to this platform more than before. Do you think controller gaming on iPad will see a dramatic increase come fall? And do you see Apple's arcade subscription having controller-recommended type games in their offering?
I
kind of
don't
a-
think off the bat they would have controller
Yeah,
recommend. That
I
seems
would-
very at odds with what they're trying to do with
Yeah,
arcade.
I mean, I think that stuff is all launching around the same time, but maybe
Yeah.
that's a lot to kind of shove on people all at once.
I think the option will be there. I don't think
Yeah,
they'll make it
Like maybe games that
mandatory.
can be played.
Yeah.
He it sounds like he's asking if there, some straight up console games are going to get ported to that service, which sounds like a stretch to me.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Outside of your Fortnites and stuff that you
Yeah, I
can't
think-
not
Remember
have
Bioshock iOS?
Yeah.
there. Yeah,
I guess. I mean, I don't think I would want to do that.
yeah.
I
No.
don't like the idea of playing those games, controller games on an iPad.
Yeah.
Like it just doesn't make sense to me. Like I think the Switch is the closest I've got to like playing like full games on and
Yeah. Unless there was
Tablet
something
style
like, they ported Stardew. That
Yeah.
kind of thing
Sure.
with the option of doing it touchscreen or the option of doing it with the controller. I can see stuff like that, but I couldn't see a game that specifically requires a controller.
Did you guys play Sky at all? Have you tried
I
that?
need to play that. I
that
downloaded
Game
it.
Company game.
I-
played a bit and it set my phone on fire.
Yeah, that thing
Yeah.
sure did get hot.
Mm.
Yeah, like that thing is 100% designed for an analog
Mhm.
controller. I mean, it's a character that you run around like
Yeah.
a stick and camera controls and everything.
Mhm. It's
no-
cute. It's
It's pretty, but like no controller support
Mm.
at all. So like that's a bad experience. But I would guess they are going to prioritize touch-based stuff
Mhm.
on that service.
some news has just popped off.
Oh my
Oh.
goodness.
This isn't gaming news though.
Uh oh. Is it?
Disney and Sony failed to reach a new deal, which means Spider-Man is out of the MCU.
What?
Are you serious?
What? Yeah.
And they've just positioned him to be the head of
yeah,
the...
he is.
Huh.
This is like
Spider-Man curse is real.
Wow.
Wonder what that means for new Spider-Man games.
I think they're safe. Given that,
Sony has the movie rights to Spider-Man. Is that right? I
yeah,
believe. So can they say that their games are based on non-existent movies? Get around it that way.
Yeah, I guess
Well, because
so.
there was no connection to the movies other
No.
than the
Yeah.
costumes,
The
right?
costumes, yeah, which they would have agreed independent or unique deals for. And obviously, the one thing that I dislike about that game is how unconnected it is from the broader Marvel world.
Yeah. Is
Yeah.
Spider-Man in the Avengers?
Yes.
Square's Avengers?
Yeah,
Oh.
he is. I
Okay.
think he's in that game. Yeah. No, wait, is he?
I
I
don't
don't
know.
think he's
No,
one of the
no,
big
no.
ones.
Oh, the new game?
Yeah. Square's
I don't think they've
Avengers.
said.
Wait, I don't think
that he
so.
is.
Yeah.
I don't think he is.
Yeah.
I can't remember. But every time I think of that game, all I can see is weird Steve Rogers' face.
All I can see is 2012 Avengers. 'cause
Yeah.
That's what it looks like it's based on.
Yeah. So that's happening.
That's
That's a yike.
That's unfortunate.
Yeah, my Slack is like blowing up.
That's a
So I was
shame.
like, "Eee." There we go.
Oh wait, isn't it D23 this weekend as well?
Oh.
Oh.
Well, I don't know if it's this weekend, but I think it's soon.
I think it's this
That is.
weekend.
That is
Because we've moved the entertainment meeting
Oh,
from
yeah.
Friday.
Do
awkward.
you guys like conventions?
Oh.
'Cause
I
'cause
don't.
there's always a convention now.
I don't mind. I think part of it. I think an E3 is a very different convention to go to than, like we were saying earlier,
Sure.
like a GameSpot.
Oh yeah, like the D23 is.
Yeah,
more
I've
of a fan
I
event.
think
Yeah.
I've not been to too many like non-gaming conventions.
We did Star Wars
We did Star Wars
Celebration that one
Celebration, which
time.
was just weird, and fun.
Yeah.
I believe
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, that was
Um,
a GameSpot day out, wasn't
Yeah.
it? Because it was right it was down the road from
Yeah.
our office, so we all decided to go.
Yeah, and we were stuck in a Battlefront 2 demo while. Oh my god, Battlefront 2 demo, which was painfully boring at the time. It was a boring part of the game, but what made it boring
It was a
like
new multiplayer mode.
yeah, within earshot we could hear Mark Hamill doing Joker,
Yeah.
and like it was literally in
Live? You mean he was
It
there?
was,
Yeah,
doing it?
there,
it was
he was
Mark
in there.
Hamill and Carrie Fisher,
Carrie
were
Fisher.
on stage,
Yikes.
maybe 30 feet away from us, and we were stuck inside this booth, and he
Hot
was doing
room.
the Killing Joke.
Yeah, he was
Oh,
doing the
man.
He
Killing
was
Joke,
doing
and
the
I was like,
speech.
and I'm a huge Batman fan, and like huge Mark Hamill as Joker fan, and I'm like,
And the thing, and, you know,
dying inside.
just like,
that dev was booting up the multiplayer session for us.
yeah.
And we're sat there just kind of going,
Yeah, and it was like taking ages to get through the menus, and I was like,
I just,
I'd
yeah,
give
I
anything
don't
to
know.
be like 30 feet that way right now.
I mean, it was like, it had a roof of the booth as well.
Yeah,
I
it's
couldn't
good.
even see outside.
Oh well.
So that's what we think of conventions.
I'd love to do
Convention
like some sort of like a San Diego Comic Con, a Comic Con.
I
I've
did
never
New
been.
York as not for work
Yeah,
because
as a
my partner at
consumer.
the time was working it, and I just went for fun.
Yeah.
And that was so much busier than I think anything I've ever experienced. And that was New York Comic Con.
Hmm.
It was, I just don't get how you would have fun at that. Like there was, it's not as if like I was queuing up for anything or I wanted to see anything in particular. I was just walking around. I was checking out the artist alley sort of stuff and looking at the booths. But if you were queuing and there were
Yeah.
so many people and it was so hot, I would.
Yeah, what if
freak
you're just
out.
into really hot, sweaty convention halls?
Love it.
Then you
And
go to
way too many
Gamescom.
people.
Yeah, go to Games. Oh, Gamescom. I've always described Gamescom as like the closest you can get to the closest like metaphor or allegory for going from the press center into the main hall is like walking through a Dark Souls fog gate. Because like you have to literally, you can feel the barrier. You have to push
Yeah.
yourself
Sure.
into the atmosphere,
Sure.
and then it feels bad on the other side.
Like the air
You
gets
feel
thick.
watched. You're just waiting for the boss bar, health bar to appear at some point, and just get absolutely ganked by everything.
And then you proceed to die over and over
yeah,
for the
and
next
then
3
you
days.
just desperately try to fat roll out of the way of everything.
Fair.
Yeah.
I'm going to be honest. A lot of the emails this week were about very unclean fast food equipment, which I'm not going to subject you guys to.
Oh, I've heard
So
stories of that.
Yes,
The
times-
McDonald's ice cream
yes,
machine.
some
Is
very-
there one that's clearly the most bad?
oh gosh.
Because if there is, I would be interested in hearing that.
Yeah. Let me see if I can.
Because I've seen some rough looking utensils in my time.
This person didn't say if they should be anonymous or not.
Ooh.
I just won't say their name just in case. Your discussion on last week's Bombcast around Dirty McFlurry and McDonald's ice cream machines reminded me of an experience I had when I worked at McDonald's many, many years ago. I had transferred from a franchise to a corporate store and immediately noticed that my new home had a rather particular smell and a bit of a fly problem.
Oh.
Fast forward a couple of weeks, and I was working night shift trying to go over proper deep cleaning procedures with the night crew. I began disassembling the front of the house drink fountain to clean the lines behind the splash guard. And as I started to take it apart, a crew member who had been working there for 5 or 6 years commented that she wasn't even aware it came apart and wasn't sure it had been deep cleaned since the store had opened a good 20 plus years before.
Oh my god.
Lo and behold, I had discovered at least one source of their fly problem. As I pulled the fountain apart, I saw the area behind it was literally crawling with maggots.
Shout out to maggots.
Shout out to Slipknot fans.
Big fans around here. There was not enough bleach in the store to make me ever want to drink from that machine again.
Sometimes it's just better to not know.
Yeah.
That's kind of. Have you been to the McDonald's on Market?
Oh, well, I maybe years and years
walked
ago.
in
It is an occasional topic of discussion here. Yes.
Everyone refers to it as the haunted McDonald's, and I'm not sure why.
I was walking to get the Muni, and I was like, oh my god, I could really go for a McFlurry, and I walked past it, and it scared me. I looked inside, and it scared me, and I just went, no, I'm never gonna. But there is another nice one. I think it's on California that has the touchscreen.
Ooh.
That's, you know.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. The touchscreen though, super dirty.
Dirtier than
Yeah.
yeah.
Just don't go to McDonald's if you can help it. I'm sure McDonald's is fine, but like, I'm too scared.
Yeah, especially that.
Oh,
one.
do you remember that one we went to in Paris?
Oh, the Paris one was. I
Grim.
thought it was grim. Yeah, it was.
Ooh, it was
They have bad McDonald's around the world. It's not just the US.
yeah, this
like,
is not a
Yeah,
localized
it's-
problem.
Yeah, I lived like 10 minutes away from a McDonald's,
Mm.
and it was a 24-hour McDonald's,
Ooh.
which is a bad time because it was just like, oh, at night, it's not a McDonald's, it's just a shelter for
Mm.
people. So you get people like sleeping, and they've got like a Coke next to them. You're like, okay, that's bad. Don't like
No.
it.
You know how that goes.
But fillet of fish, though, what a burger that is. Elite. Banger.
All right, last email from Kane. Last week you had an email about someone peeing on their Xbox.
Oh.
I don't know how you guys ended up with this delightful assortment of emails. Unfortunately, I have also been in this state of mind and tested the pee-proofness of the original. Of the Xbox One,
What?
which is.
That thing's got vents all
I was
over
going
it.
to say that's extra bad, especially if it was a launch model, because the entire top of that thing is
It's
just
just a vent.
Yeah.
it's a gigantic vent. I called support and convinced them that my Xbox was still under warranty and got a new non-P Xbox a couple weeks later. Do you guys want
The
to?
ice cream van hustled them.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So you want to weigh in on the ethics of sending Microsoft a pee-soaked Xbox? Where do those things go?
I'm trying to think.
Like it
of
probably goes and gets refurbished somewhere,
Yeah,
right?
it'll get refurbished.
Oh
Yeah.
man,
Unless they, I mean, presumably someone went, yeah, this has been pissed on.
How do
they
you-
could just tell.
Yeah, they can just tell.
I just want to know the background of like, do you do it deliberately?
Yeah, I
Is
don't-
it? So I had a friend who got really drunk one night and he thought he was in his own house when in reality he was in our house, and got up and went down the exact path as if he was going to his bathroom
This is normal route.
and just pissed in the corner of the room,
Mhm.
right? So I can understand something like that. You're not in the right frame of mind.
Sure.
Mm.
First of all, why is your Xbox on the floor as well?
Why is
Put
it?
it-
Why
put
is
it
it in
on
the
the
line
table.
of? Why is it in the line of fire?
There's,
Yeah. There's just a lot.
there's no
Yeah.
way that's not deliberate. Like it has to be. The second one.
Are you talking about my friend?
No. Your friend
No, the
first of all.
Xbox.
The Xbox. The second person clearly did it deliberately to
Yeah.
test the thing.
Yeah.
The first person, I think there was an element of deliberateness.
Okay.
Like there
Yeah.
had to be some
There's
awareness of.
some.
It had to be like, I know I'm peeing on a Xbox, but I just need to pee, and I'm too
Yeah.
far in.
You think there's some kind of latent animosity toward the Xbox,
Xbox,
brand?
it's
That you
like
just really want to get back
Having
at?
nightmares about red rings and being like, "I'll show you a red ring." That would be
Oh.
pooing.
Oh.
On it. That would be
Oh.
pooing on it.
Or
not
like a
peeing
really
on it.
bad STI or something.
Boy.
Yeah. I mean, like
Okay.
if you pee on it enough, a mushroom comes out, and then if multiple people pee on
Okay.
it, you get a new mushroom. That's
You get an
very-
Xbox
You
One
get an
X.
Xbox One X, and then that has got like very few vents on it. It's just Splash Central. And
Bombcast@gibob.com. It's the email address to send things to. Thank you guys so much for being here.
thank you for having
Thanks
me.
for having us.
Hope you're enjoying your time here
I am very excited to be
on these shores.
in the land of E40 and his various business adventures.
I thought you might say I'm very excited to pee on my Xbox.
That too.
I knew I had to get in an E40 reference on a
You guys,
Giant Bomb
you guys
podcast.
definitely need to talk later.
40. It's Slurricane.
It's Slurricanes,
great.
yeah. I mean, like I can't touch any of that stuff because like I'm a no alcohol type guy. But
I'll
every
touch it for you. It's
I
okay.
see it and I'm like, this is nonsense, and I understand that it's nonsense. And I feel sad that I can't get involved in this.
I'm just disappointed that E40 hasn't tried to partner up with like Four Locos
Yes.
to like make
E40
E4
Locos.
go something like
Yes.
that.
Ooh.
Love that guy.
What guy?
I don't know what you're talking about.
Ambassador of the Bay, Lucy.
Yeah.
You've been here for like how long now?
Almost a
You
year.
should know
Almost
who
a-
E40 is.
Aren't you ready to get hyphy? Is
Yeah.
it-
Bring back the hyphy.
I don't
Bring
even
out
know.
the hyphy,
I'm
yeah.
trying
Oh my
here.
God.
Also not a native.
E40 is
I
a local
genuinely
legend.
don't know what
Gas
you're talking about.
break. Oh,
I feel like
Do
I'm
you
in
like
a...
rap music?
No.
Okay.
Well, I listen.
This could be a
no.
problem then.
oh.
I listen to some, but
We'll talk later.
send me some links.
I have too many playlists dedicated to this, so yes.
Great.
Yes, we'll
Share them around.
put our heads
Put
together
'em in
later.
real Slack.
Yes, do a little cultural exchange.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you guys again for being here, and thanks everybody for listening. We will be back with another episode of this here podcast, same time next week. See you then. Hey, if you think drunk driving is no big deal, you couldn't be more wrong. You could get in a crash, people could get hurt or killed, and you could get arrested, incur huge legal expenses, or even lose your job. So next time you plan on drinking, make sure you plan ahead. Designate a sober driver or use a ride service to get home safely. Drive sober or get pulled over.